You're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Wow, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
It's the time again. It's Monday night, and we're gonna light it up like dynamite. That's right, get ready to party. It's not the time for feminine toxic feminine. Get ready to take your seats and shake them. Time for some Monday night roar once again. Gotta get up to get down. Come on, let's go. This is the place to be. Toxic femininity. Let's get ready to party. Time for toxic femininity.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the press, I am here to announce Toxic Femininity is on the air. Yeah, you go. I'm watching you, kid.
Let's get ready to party. Time for toxic femininity.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm here to announce that I did not drop out of the race. I'm like a turtle. It just takes me a little longer to get there, but I will finish the finish line. I know how to finish the line. I am the line. And my brain is better than ever. In fact, I just had CrowdStrike updated, and I am better than ever. Hello, my fellow Americans. I am here not to announce it. Wait a minute. Why do I get that smiley face? Wait, what's going on? Smile.
Joe, do we still have you, Joe? Joe,
Are you still with us?
Mr.
I just
Biden,
get
are
the
you
little
with
smiley
us?
face. It says I'm not connected.
Mr.
How
Biden,
you work this thing?
Mr. President, are you still with us?
Define with us.
Do you have a pulse? Are you alive?
Are you alive?
Define that.
have you been blue screened?
I can't see nothing. God damn it.
This is getting real dark.
Just sit back and take a nap now.
I just want to know, Mr. President, why you chose what has to be your favorite day of the year, which is National Ice Cream Day, to
Well,
be the day that
everything
you
can be
decided
ice
to
cream.
step down.
Everything can be ice cream. Every day can be ice cream day. You just lick it. Instant ice cream.
Jesus Christ.
What's your favorite flavor? Mine's wall.
Mine is chocolate.
I like chalk.
I thought you liked chocolate, people.
No, I'm not Gary.
Oh shit. Jesus Christ. Welcome
I'm
to
black.
Toxic Femininity,
I'm down
guys.
with the black folks, yo.
Smoke weed every day.
Just like Kamala.
Welcome to the Toxic Femininity on Midnight's Edge, where you can ask President Biden any question we have.
Look, I gotta eat, okay? I gotta work. Give me a break.
Send in super chats and ask Biden your questions. President Biden's here to provide all the answers that you need.
I gotta go poop.
You don't have
Just
to
don't do it
announce
on
that.
stage in your
You
pants.
usually just go, don't
I
you?
like
Don't-
turtles.
Hello, Tom. Tom,
He
did
just
you have
ran
any-
away to the bathroom. I don't know what happened there.
Wow.
Oh, he ran?
Yeah. Well, as fast as he could.
Did what happened? It's probably what happened to him happened to, or what happened to the guy in Cobra Kai happened to
Oh,
Biden.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
Oh,
going to talk
man.
about that
Oh
tonight.
shit! Oh shit is
I
right.
laughed out loud. I was dying.
That was fucked up.
It was really
funny.
fucked up. I feel bad for him.
I
got
So did all of us
bad,
actually
too.
watch this? Wow.
Yeah, sweet. We got a full panel that has seen Cobra Kai season 6, part 1. We're going to be talking about that. Spoiler alert, people.
Someone poops their pants.
Yep.
And it's not Biden this time, surprisingly.
Well, we also got Armie Hammer news. We have
Ugh.
Twisters. A couple of people. I think at least
Twisters.
one of us have seen Twisters,
I've seen
and that took
Um,
the
that's
theater by storm.
Oh, you two of you have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
Also, right before we went live, I did see that the Deadpool and Wolverine red carpet is in full swing right now. Marvel was live on Twitter, and it was like a whole thing. I did see this headline that made me kind of chuckle and smile and think of Michelle, so I wanted to share it. It says Deadpool and Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds clarifies once and for all Taylor Swift cameo rumors. Would you like to know the answer?
He's going
Or
to
do you
tell us
already
no.
know?
I don't believe him. He's going to tell us no. Why would he tell
Who do you
us
think?
that?
Who do you think
I wanna
Lady
know.
Deadpool probably is?
Taylor.
Oh, shit.
Blake Lively. I think it's Blake Lively.
Oh,
I
You
think
think
it's
it's
Blake
Blake?
Lively too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Could
do.
be Taylor.
She's-
Well,
no,
he
she's
said
Bachelor.
that unfortunately
No.
she is not going to be cameoing in this movie.
Yeah, I'd heard they were talking to her for something else, not this. Yeah.
He says, I will say once and for all that the cameo thing for Taylor, because she's our friend, that it's not in this film. However, he says, I always do say
However.
that if anyone ever were to take over the role of Deadpool, actually Taylor would be very good. Because that's a superpower
No.
that I don't know that she shows everyone too often. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. That's what he said. So maybe you're right, Tom. Maybe she is
Yeah,
gonna
her
be.
political views are a riot.
Yeah, she is she's
Gotta
funny.
say something about this Trump guy.
Oh my
He
god.
assaulted me with his mind.
She hasn't said anything this time.
She hasn't?
Sexorcism.
Sexorcism? That's
That's
Yeah,
what it
no.
is.
that's
Yeah,
a funny
she hasn't
word.
said anything this time. She didn't actually say anything in 2020.
Didn't
She's
she?
had
I
Biden
don't know.
cookies in the picture.
Yeah. When was this thing though? It was at the 2020. That was when it was after that she said the thing. I should have
Okay, come
said
on.
something about
Look
Trump.
at Blake Lively's body.
Yeah, she was like crying to her
Mm.
dad, like he's like
You
still
might be-
alive.
whoops.
Ah, sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead.
It's all
I
you.
say you
It's all
might be right, but all I know from the trailers, it's all CGI. So
Hello.
Lady Deadpool. Tell me that's Lady Deadpool. Come on.
Come on.
It probably is.
the blonde hair thing was the other thing that I was thinking.
Blake
but no.
Lively has an amazing body.
Yeah.
And she's had
I
3
mean, she's
kids.
gorgeous.
I
Well,
love
and
that
the
they're
rumors we were
dressed
hearing
as
it wasn't for
True.
Deadpool; it was for a different thing. It was something X-Men related, if I remember right. So-
I love that they're dressed as Deadpool and Wolverine. It's so cute.
Oh, that's so
Mm-hmm.
cute. I didn't realize the other girl was sporting the Wolverine look for a second. And then you
Who
said
is
it. I'm
the
like,
other
oh, yeah,
girl?
that's right. I don't
no
know.
idea.
I have
Yeah,
no
no
idea who
idea.
she is. I don't think anybody knows who
There
she
you
is. Does
go.
anyone in the chat know who that woman is? I have no idea.
Nope.
Mind you, Blake Lively has a lot of weird friends that she's just goes around with. They're like princesses from Europe and shit. Like she just hangs out with royalty all the time.
That's weird.
I know that.
Well, she does though,
Yeah,
because
that's
she's
Lady
like friends.
Deadpool.
She's good friends with like Paris Hilton and all of those guys. Like, you know,
Like
they
she's
just hang
good
out.
friends with Taylor. She's basically
Yeah.
rock and roll.
They just hang out with like royalty. They're like, oh, just going to like Princess whatever's birthday party today. You know, it's
Nice. She's just a social butterfly.
4 children. Wow,
Whoa. Wow.
that's wild. Good for her.
I know.
She's got a fantastic body. Hopefully, it's not like Ozempic, and she's just doing yoga. But you know, the old school way of losing weight. We did have a very awesome super chat, a couple of them. But before we get going into that, Tom, you want to introduce the panel because we just started
Yeah, we haven't
jumping
even
around.
done that yet, have we?
Yeah, no, we
We're
didn't.
like, they all know us.
They don't know us. Who doesn't know us?
From the place where they do the Greek gamers. It's Stephanie, my nerdy home. From the place that does the God viewing of the movies and the place with the light that forces you to see it. It's Michelle. And when you're looking into infinity and you see tomorrow and beyond, I don't know where to go from there. It's just an infinity.
Hi, President Biden.
Where we're going, we don't need roads. My dad said that once. You know what else he said? He said, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you get it and how fast you get up and keep going. Because that's how winning is done, Rocky.
God, I love
Dad
this.
told me that. True story.
Are you sure it wasn't Grandpappy?
Maybe it was.
We got Jeremy here, Winfield. Jeremy Winfield's been a member for 13 months.
13
Amazing.
months.
Thank you so much. Psychotic Mongoose has been a member for 4 months. I'm pretty sure Psychotic Mongoose has been a member for longer, but sometimes YouTube does weird shit and that doesn't count the other months for some reason.
He may have also changed levels as well. That also.
That's true. He also gifted a membership to
Well,
the
thank
chat,
you.
so thank you so very much for that. And then we got Kalechi Oak. Thank you for the $10. Says Tom and Nina, if you guys are ever looking for more panelists, it would be cool to see Madam Savvy and Snarky J on here. I'd say they're toxic enough. Well, we've had Madam Savvy on once before, and I actually did hit her up today. I invited her on today, but she said she had a previous engagement and wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. But I don't know who Snarky J is. Who's Snarky J? Do you guys know?
She's like, she's pretty big now. I felt, doesn't she have like 100,000 subs? I don't know. She blew up like through the Acolyte and stuff like that. I think she does Star Wars a lot. I believe maybe.
I was gonna say yeah.
Like
she's been brought before. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh no, you're okay. Like I know she was just recently on with Critical
Oh, she was
Drinker.
on with Critical Drinker. Yeah. I know who that is now.
And I think she's been on with like Star Wars Theory some. Maybe.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
Well, I mean, if I could get a hold of her, I'd love to have her on. She sounds awesome. And I'm subscribed to her apparently. So that's good. I just went and looked at her channel. I'm like, oh, YouTube never just gives me any notifications for anybody. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'd love to have her on. I don't know if I can get a hold of her, but if we can, that'll be cool. Ruby Hoove just gifted a membership to the chat. Thank you so very much for that. And then Cajun Corey's here for $5. Says, love to Stephanie and Michelle and even Nina, though I haven't met her in person yet. Oh no, Joe's here. I think he creeped himself or crapped himself. Ooh.
He might have.
Aw,
I just hope he's alive, you know?
When I said that's awesome, I meant about the love to Michelle and Stephanie, not about Joe crapping his pants. Just to clarify.
You crapped yourself.
I crap
Corn
myself.
Pop, he's a bad dude. I don't listen to that Cajun Corey.
Speaking of crapping your pants. Oops, I crapped my pants.
No,
$4.99 this year. And
I
I keep reading the super chats. Would you like to take this one, Mr. Biden or Joe Biden?
I don't like dark people. I just like popcorn and corn pop. Well, I like dark meat. I didn't need that. America.
Has Biden waken up? Well, he's vocal, right?
I'm woke.
He's woke. Okay, let's talk about some entertainment news. As we all know, oh wait, before we go into that, did you guys see the new? Because we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. Did you guys see the new trailer, with the final trailer before the movie's released?
No, I didn't. So if you want to play it, go ahead. Because Disney usually doesn't care.
Can we play it, Tom?
Real quick, I don't see why not. We can try.
Okay, we can.
I'm
try
sure
and
I'll
pause
get
it.
yelled at one way or another.
They've yet to strike me for it.
That's good.
That's good. Okay, well, we'll watch it a little bit, and then I'll try and pause it. So if you guys want to say anything at any point, let me know. I thought this was a great trailer, way better than the first couple ones. Here we go.
I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. Or I want to use that for something important. I waited a long time for this team up.
So is everybody else. I think like literally everyone everywhere has been waiting for a Wolverine Deadpool team up, or really classic Wolverine team up with anybody. People have just wanted to see classic Wolverine on the big screen forever. And therefore, I think this movie is going to do extremely well just off of that. Just seeing him in the classic suit.
In my world, you're well regarded. You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man.
In all seriousness, how many people like here on the panel cried their eyes out when he died in Logan? I was freaking bawling. Anybody?
Oh yeah, that was such a great
It was
movie.
sad.
It was an amazing way for him to go out.
Amazing movie. I was very shocked.
The Wolverine. He's a hero in my
Oh
world.
my god, it's such a good scene.
Yeah. He ain't shit in mine. Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. So did Storm and Beast. But I couldn't have him thinking I wanted to be there. It was too late.
Wait, so who's this chick? Is she like
Yeah, who is that?
Anybody?
Isn't that?
I don't
She's
know.
Professor
Is that-
X's twin sister
Yeah.
from another
Like-
universe or some shit like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
is she in the comics?
Can't,
And I wanted to be
can't pause it on
be
her.
there.
There she is.
Yeah, she's Professor X's sister.
Okay. Is she wait, who is playing her? I don't recognize her. Who is she?
I don't
I have
either.
no idea.
But yet her face
we
looks
know?
somewhat familiar to me.
Yeah, same. I'm trying to place her. I'm like, who are you? I don't know you, but I do know you.
It was too late. It's only 9 people, but my entire world is right here in this picture. And I have no idea how to save it alone, but you know how to save it.
Whoever you think I am. You got the wrong guy.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's
she
a
looks.
powerful
She looks
scene.
so beautiful.
You were
right
always
now.
the wrong guy.
She
Look at
does.
her.
Till you weren't.
That was a really powerful scene right there.
Mm,
God,
she
she's
looks so
great.
pretty.
Yeah, but this debunks the other theory is that he comes from the Logan universe, so it's not even that one. It's a different
No.
Logan yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Wow.
Are you ready? Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm the Wolverine.
Oh god, that gave me chills.
Stop it.
That was the best one, I think.
For sure. That dog, by the way, where is it? This
Oh,
dog?
Dog
That one
pool.
got me.
I love him.
Dog pool was at the fucking thing right now.
Was he at the premiere?
Yeah, he was at the premiere, and they were like shooting him on the red carpet, and he's all being cute. It was adorable. I
Was
like,
he in a tux? I need to look it up.
He
Oh my
was in
gosh.
the same. He was in this he was in his little Deadpool outfit. It was really
Oh.
cute.
Dog pool is my favorite part.
Dogpool
Yeah,
was
I like
on the
that.
red carpet.
I love
guys.
like really ugly dogs. I love super ugly
You
dogs.
do?
Right up my
That dog
alley.
takes offense.
Oh, that's funny. Can anyone tell me how to become a member of this channel? Well, you go to the little place that has a little dollar sign on it on the right hand side of your chat. You press that, and then it'll say memberships, and then you can sign up for a membership. Thank you for asking. There you go. Yeah. So there you go. I like this trailer way better than any other trailer they've dropped so far. It had emotional impact. I really like that, the monologue of Wolverine. Just kind of explaining what's going on with him. I thought that was really cool. They really leaned into the Wolverine aspect, which again, I think is the reason most people are going to want to go see this movie. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's going to break some box office records for Marvel?
I think it could make $1 billion.
There
I don't think it's gonna break any record. Oh, there it is.
There he is.
He's got a mohawk.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's freaking adorable. I know I saw that. I was kind of freaking out too. I was like, that's fucking cute. So what do you guys think? Box office records
I'm
being
excited.
broken, or
I thought it's already broken some records and like pre-sale tickets.
it has? Holy shit.
I
That's crazy.
thought maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I read that wrong somewhere. Or imagined it.
Tom?
I don't know. I read so many articles.
I know they all
But
start.
I think it
getting lit
will. I think it'll be a quick, like break a weekend record or something. It'll break some kind of record. Yeah, for sure. It's going to succeed 100%.
I think it's behind No Way Home in pre-sales, but it might break the R-rated opening record.
the
I bet.
R-rated opening. That's what it was. It was the R-rated opening. Yeah.
The interesting part for me is that this is coming off the heels of The Acolyte. So a lot of people I don't watch The Acolyte or Disney Star Wars, but Disney's been under fire recently for how much The Acolyte sucked. And then right before that, you had the whole James O'Keefe dropping the stuff about Disney. So they've Disney hasn't really PR wise, they really haven't been doing well. They desperately
They
need-
had Inside Out 2, which really helped.
That's
a lot.
true as well. That's true. I forgot about Inside Out too. They had a really good launch with that movie, but I think this is something they desperately need right now. And it's certainly not coming from the likes of Kevin Feige, which is I'm so happy that he has nothing to do with this movie because I feel like Kevin
he
Feige
does,
is
but
poison. He
It
does.
wasn't
Okay,
his
explain
idea.
how.
He's the producer.
Oh, is he? So, but he's
Yeah.
not but producer doesn't mean he's on the set telling them what to do. Producer just means he's just providing funding and money and blah, blah, blah. The backing, he's not a director, correct?
No, he's not a
They do have,
director, but
I think that producers can also have some input.
Gross.
They
Well,
can.
that
He
seems a little bit.
yeah, they had to run everything by him. That's been part of the conversation, that I know.
By
It's
who?
they even had to by Kevin Feige.
Oh,
They
yeah.
would make the jokes about having permission to do the cocaine jokes and all this other stuff, and they had to one of the jokes was they had to explain some of the things to Kevin or whatever. But yeah,
Well, that sucks. There
and
goes my
he's like,
theory.
I know what pegging is, but you're gonna have to explain that to our people or something like that. But yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah,
Of course
think,
he knows what pegging is. Freaking Kevin Feige. Sorry.
But
go ahead.
I think this movie can do very well for Disney. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the last Marvel movies that does well for a long time.
yeah.
From what
I mean,
I've
what
seen,
else do
what they
they
have
got?
coming out.
I think they're hoping that this will re-energize the Marvel fans. But at the same time, I think that they
Yeah.
were also hoping that Spider-Man 3 would re-energize the fan base, and it didn't. People just went to that one specific movie because it had cameos from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It didn't re-energize the fan base because then you look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
God,
Madness,
that was
and
terrible.
that film didn't do very well, right? Even though it did have cameos in that one, and not a lot of people saw it. So, I think that they're
But I
really
think the
hoping
reason for that,
this
Stephanie, though, was because like the people who did go see it, like myself, like I was like, like I'm gonna, because I love the first one, and I
word
was
of
like, I'm
mouth
gonna
was
give this one
bad.
word of mouth. Like
Word of mouth was
immediately,
bad.
people were like, this movie was trash, and like it wasn't like the Spider-Man one where people were going out and coming back and tweeting like, this was a fucking great movie, go see it. People went
Yeah.
multiple times to
That's what I'm saying.
Spider-Man.
Like they were hoping that Spider-Man 3 would re-energize the fan base, and it didn't. Right. And I think that they're hoping that this movie does that as well. It'll re-energize the fan base. But not only that,
Mhm.
I'm wondering if this is going to also come as like a sort of reset for the MCU too. And that's how the fan base will be re-energized, right? Oh my gosh. So now what? Now what for the MCU? It's like sort of like a new timeline, a different type of like resetting with the MCU, because they're not going with Kang anymore. That's going to be scrapped. They're not going with that.
Yeah, and then there's been talks about the Avengers 4 recently, and then there's also been obviously Captain America. What did they land on with the name? I don't know what are they going on.
What is
Falcon America.
Captain America Brave New World?
Brave New
Oh,
World? Was
is
it
that-
not?
is it?
Was it still
Isn't it
Brave New
Brave
World?
New World?
I'm
I think
looking
here,
it up.
let me look at it.
Maybe it is. I think it is. It
Let her
Brave
get
New
it. I hear
World?
you typing
They
away.
keep changing it is Brave New World.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was
We
Brave
keep
New
changing the
World.
names for these shows. We can't even keep up anymore. I feel like Biden. I'm forgetting all the
Look at
freaking
how
names.
but look at how uninterested we are, right? We would totally have
Yeah.
known the name of like Captain America Civil War.
That's true.
Even like Thor the Dark World, everybody knew it was Thor the Dark World.
Mhm.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, like, but this one it's like what was it? What's the title of it? I know it's Captain America, but what is the title? That wouldn't have been possible. We would have totally been, because it was so energizing. People were so looking forward to the next Marvel film. They knew what was coming next. They knew the title. But now it's like, I can't remember the title.
I thought it was really interesting too, because I like when I was watching the trailer for the new Captain America, they like had like a specific line in there where he like they really want to hammer it home, and they're like, "You're not Steve Rogers," and he's like, "You're right, I'm not." And I was like, "That's like literally what everyone's been saying, is like he's not Captain America because Steve Rogers is Captain America." And like he's just, I don't know, like they're really leaning into that whole thing. Like, yeah, you're not Captain America, like you're not Steve Rogers, and he's just like, yeah.
But that's just
And-
going to empower him even more. It's like,
Yeah, it's
I'm not. I'm
it was
better.
weird. It was a weird thing to lean into. I was like, oh, okay, like people don't like it, but all right, let's lean into that. And then of course you got with Agatha
Agatha all along.
Yeah. Who's watching that over like on this panel? Anybody gonna watch?
I'm gonna watch it so I
Agatha?
can review it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get content out of it. That's it. I'll watch it to review it. Someone
Good
sends
for
me like
you.
someone been sending me links to like all of it, because I don't have Disney Plus, but this that's how I've been watching The Acolyte.
I mean,
Yeah, you gotta get some links.
maybe I'll review like the first episode. I just don't even know. Like people were, they were there to hate on the Acolyte for sure because of everything that led up to it. I don't know that anyone cares enough to even like hate on like Agatha. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's such little interest. I don't even think people care.
The apathy.
Yeah, they're just apathetic towards it. Like kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It's kind of how it feels.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Well, I don't know if we will actually, because Disney never really gives us like real numbers. I guess until the other Nielsen ratings or something like that drops, we won't know how well it's doing. I don't think Tom watches any of the Disney Plus crap. Do you, Tom? I don't remember you watching any of them.
I don't think he does.
I stopped after, I think it was like Loki season 2. Like I got like a little bit into it, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Because before that, like Falcon and the Woke Soldier fucking totally broke me. I was like, this is garbage. Like, holy shit, it's become an absolute shit show.
I watched like half of WandaVision. I watched all of Hawkeye. I watched like an episode or 2 of She-Hulk.
I watched
stop
all of
now.
Hawkeye and all of season 1 of Loki, because those were the only 2 shows that I was interested in. and I was forced to watch She-Hulk by Drunk.
Only one episode of Loki, and I was
She-Hulk,
out
yeah.
after the whole the Infinity Stones don't mean shit here.
She-Hulk was fucking terrible, man. Somebody forced me to watch that garbage too. I was like, this is torture.
Otherwise, I think I avoided the rest. Yeah.
But anyways, let's move on to better movies apparently being made than
It's a twister.
Marvel coming out with. Well, at least they're doing better in the box office. We got Twisters was out. I personally have not seen it yet, though I want to see it. But apparently, it did really well in the box office. Who on here has seen it? You seen it? You guys have all seen it. Well, except for Tom. So what did you guys think of the movie? Michelle, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was just like a fun popcorn flick that doesn't have any messaging it's pushing. I thought the opening sequence was excellent. It really set up the movie. And then Glenn Powell, like, man, he just brings a lot of energy in anything he's in. Like you can tangibly feel the energy that he brings onto any movie, like into the movie. So I had fun with it.
Nice, that's good. What about you, Stephanie? What'd you think?
I loved the movie. I loved the first movie. And going in this one, I wasn't really expecting much because I love the first one so much, but Michelle is totally right. That opening scene just grabs you from the very beginning. It really gives you, like, tells you the stakes are really, really high. Like, it's so intense and you really feel it emotionally. You're like, oh my gosh, you're just so tense watching that initial scene. There were some flaws to it but it's kind of, I feel like by me, it's kind of nitpicky with the flaws that I have with this movie, because overall, I really loved it. I think more people need to see it. It's already doing really well. It's kind of like a hit right now. More people need to see it and support it because it's really fun. It's such a
I
great
really want
movie.
to now. See, again, but this is from word of mouth that I'm interested now, because before that, because whenever you hear about sequels, especially sequels that are like, 30 years out, you think to yourself like, oh God, like, modern day Twisters, like it's going to be some gay, trans Twister or something. I don't know what's going on. But, it's usually good when things just don't become political and they don't do the message situation. And so word of mouth is making me want to go see this movie now.
And there's none of that in there. There's none of that
No.
in there. All of the characters act like they're supposed to be. Like, there's no like, oh my gosh, the woman power, the woman saving the man in this one. No, all of the characters act and react the way they should, the way that you think they should, considering their background and how they grew up and everything. So it's such a great movie. I really want to go see it again. It's that good. It's very entertaining.
Nice. That's a good sign.
It was very entertaining. And so, Steph, you let me know if like my mind just like it did grab it. Like I can't even really remember any cussing much in this movie. Like it's very clean.
No.
I'm saying for family.
Yeah, it's very clean. There's no cussing.
As long as you're a kid wouldn't be like scared of like the tornadoes themselves. Like it's a very clean family.
Not a normal Twister. That Twister's trans.
I was like,
oh
what is
my
it?
God.
I was like, is it raining outside? I was so confused. And then I thought my speakers were going out.
Okay. The only thing we have to settle here, Steph. So I read that like Steven Spielberg was like, I made them remove the kiss because they didn't need it in this movie. When I literally turned to my niece at the end of the movie and I went, they didn't kiss? Like, why not?
You know what? I like that they didn't kiss.
I wanted to kiss. I mean,
I really like that they
go
didn't
after
kiss.
her
It wasn't
kiss.
warranted. Like there was sort of like this respect between both of them at the end, and the implication that something romantic can happen with them in the future. I didn't want them to kiss.
True.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, I could tell you because I haven't seen it.
Characters, because remember, like they initially started off sort of like on a bad foot with each other. He's like, "You're a city girl," and she looked at him like, "Oh, you're a YouTuber that's taking advantage of these poor people that have just gone through all of this destruction." And then they both kind of do a heel turn and realize, "Oh, you've actually been through some stuff, and oh, you're actually helping people," right? So like there's this mutual respect between the two that I don't think that a kiss was needed at the end.
Well, I can tell you from like somebody who I just like romance stories. That makes me upset that there's no kiss at the end. What? Like
Well, I
you
think
need a
it's like
kiss at the end.
what he did at the end at the airport, right, with his truck
Yes.
was really
Fired a
cute,
kiss.
right? Just what he did at the airport with his truck was enough for me. That was the big grand gesture. He didn't need a kiss.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll come back to this conversation once I've seen it, and I'll let you guys know. Because, dude, romances and like that big final kiss at the end, like you needed it. Like sometimes
I
you need
didn't
that.
think it was needed.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was needed. Like sometimes you don't need ice cream, but like you want that ice cream, you know?
Really? Is this what's going on? They shook hands. Jesus fucking Christ.
Did they? Is that what happened?
I don't think they did.
Okay, they don't.
They shook hands?
It's
I thought that they just like looked at each other and then like looked out at the weather.
yeah,
Like,
they did. And they looked
Yeah.
at him like he does this big gesture, and it's like he goes for the girl in the airport, and then they're just like,
Yeah, because there's like bad weather
Goodbye.
coming, so she can't fly out. So she's gonna go with him. Like that's
Okay.
what I was thinking. So I was like, that's perfect.
That
It was-
sounds
I
a
mean,
little
it was
messagey
cute.
to
I just-
me, man. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds a little messagey, like, oh, we can't have romance anymore in movies. Like we gotta,
Oh, no,
gotta cut out the scene.
There's stuff between them. Like
there's
it's
stuff
really-
between them. It was just like I'd had this good movie, and I really wanted the sorbet.
Yeah, like
palette
the
at
frosty.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's some interesting news about the previous movie. This just dropped right before we went live, and I was like, "This is interesting." It says Twister stunt boss says Steven Spielberg flew to Oklahoma and was fucking yelling at director after crew walks off the set amid chaotic filming. This was a really interesting article. Tom, did you read this? Or did you ladies read it? Because I put it
I
in
didn't.
the.
I didn't
No,
even see
I
that
did
one.
not.
This was interesting. So let's
I know
read,
that like
read a little bit.
I know that like is that for Twisters? This the second one?
This is the first one.
Oh,
this
the
is the
first.
Yeah, I
one.
buzzed through
Oh.
it. This is for the first film, to be clear.
Oh,
But yeah.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
I know in the second film that like production was shut down a lot because they actually shot in Oklahoma during tornado season. So like they kept shutting down production because of the weather. But this isn't.
Yeah,
that.
this is about the first
Okay.
movie, and it's
Oh,
just it's really funny because you just kind of get a picture of Steven Spielberg being like this fucking boss asshole, like, and it just
can
sounds
see
so
that.
funny. Yeah, I can see it. I can totally
totally see
picture
it.
this. So it says in the lead up to the release of Twisters, the stunt coordinator from 1996 Twister spoke about to the Independent about the chaos that ensued during the production of the original movie. Mick Rogers recalls Twister director Jan DeBont. Is that how you pronounce that? DeBont?
Jan de Bont.
Jan DeBont. Thank you. Jan DeBont having an alleged meltdown on set one day that resulted in the crew temporarily abandoning the production. Per the Independent, what was it again? DuBont.
Juan Dumont.
Most notorious outburst nearly scuppered the entire production. The crew was filming in a ditch one day when the director shoved a camera assistant aside who tripped and tumbled down the gully. After the director refused to apologize. What a dick. Like, you can't even say I'm sorry for the incident. The entire camera crew stormed off set, promptly followed by audio team. Then the wardrobe, at least Alec Baldwin wasn't on set because somebody would have ended up dead on there. It hadn't been brewing. Rogers told the publication that about the set tension. According to Rogers, none other than executive producer Steven Spielberg arrived the next day to Norman, Oklahoma. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
To admonish the director over the chaotic production. Apparently, Spielberg never made it to the set. DeBont met him at the airport. The ramp came down on the Learjet, and Spielberg walked down it, and he never touched the ground. Rogers said he just stood there yelling at Jan. He never even got off the plane. He was just fucking yelling, pointing his finger at him, screaming at him. I don't know what he said to him, but he barked at him for like 15 minutes and then got back on the plane, and the plane left without even stepping off. That's what happened. That is fucking wild. But then, yeah, they went back to production, obviously, and it just kind of goes into the rest of it, and the rest is history. I mean, they made the movie, but apparently there was like a whole bunch of other problems that happened too. Like Helen Hunt was injured on the set. So was her co-star. What's his name? What's his name? That dude.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. They were both injured on the set. It was like a whole thing. Those additional problems happen on the very regular basis yet, and because the movie takes place in one day, but shooting takes place in multiple months. In the beginning, everything is barren, then slowly corn, blah 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 blah. I don't know where that part is where he talks about Bill Paxton. Oh, there it is. While co-star Paxton was temporarily blinded by electrical lamps, and Helen Hunt was struck in the head during filming. So
that's what I love hearing about, like some of these more modern actors and their bitching. It's like, y'all don't know how to make a movie.
I know. I was thinking that, Tom, because like it's like a lot of these modern actresses are like, that guy was mean to me on set. He said he didn't like my hair.
I didn't do my right pronouns.
Well, remember Rachel Zegler? I had to stand there in the dress all day.
I know.
Well, Bill Paxton lost his vision for a while.
Helen was knocked out.
Helen Hunt got a fucking concussion, and this was just like, I had to stand there in a dress.
Stand in a dress all day.
Oh, man.
It was so strange and sad standing in a dress all day in front of a green screen. Oh my God, it was so trying. I almost sweated once.
And like, mind you, let's keep in mind also the actual price difference of how much they're getting paid, right? Because I bet you Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton were paid nowhere near as much as Rachel Zegler was to stand in that fucking dress for whatever 8-12 hours.
Is that movie ever coming out, by the way? Like,
I heard they wrapped filming. Wrapped filming, so I think it's in editing mode now, or whatever they're gonna do with it. So the last time I heard, I think it was Latino Slant actually was kind of covering the news that they wrapped filming. So I'm guessing probably that next year.
Okay,
it's just a wild guess. Unless they scrap it, that would be funny. But yeah. Oh, I did see this.
They were just doing
out
reshoots, I thought, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
They might have finished that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they did reshoots about the way they did with the new Captain America movie.
There's a lot of reshoots happening with Disney. Real quick, I'm going to get these couple of super chats here, and then I wanted to ask Stephanie something. Leaf Larson, thank you for becoming a YouTube member of Midnight's Edge. John Thomas is a super chat. Michelle, you want to get this one?
Yes, thank you so much, John, for the $5 super chat. A good family fantasy film that Manned and Witch, July 28th and 30th, produced by the little girl Empress from Never Ending Story. How do you say her name? Shake. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. How do you say her name? And
Shake? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how to say it, but yeah, I think I heard about this. Yeah, it's like an
Your
independent
theater
produced.
or IG.
What is it called? Manned and Witch. I'm down. I like those kind of movies. Manned and Witch.
I haven't heard of it.
I think it's Man and Witch. He put Manned.
And sorry, John, I botched like the entire reading.
Oh God. Sean Astin's on this. Wait, do I like Sean Astin? Yeah.
Pretty good.
It looks interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's right. Sean Astin's in it. That's right. Yeah. It's like an independent family fantasy film. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
Here, I'm just gonna pull up the IMDb for it so you guys can kind of see the picture. But it looks cool. Looks like a little family movie. I'd watch this. Thanks for the suggestion. And then we got Pilgrim Media has a question for you, Tom. You want to get that one?
Oh yeah, I fucked up.
Okay.
It was the same question I asked Tom because I was watching it. It was like the stream disappeared or is no longer here, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, there's this thing when you bring it down to end the thing for the stream. I instead of just removing the stream, which ends it, I accidentally deleted it too. I had to check this thing off, and I went,
Oh, that
shit.
sucks.
So I ended up
Oh,
removing the whole stream instead of just ending the stream. That was my fault.
whoopsies.
Normally, I
That's-
don't know if it'd be a big deal or not, but Andre's like, I don't think it will be a problem because now it won't kill our video from this morning. Because anytime we do a stream after we drop a video, it just kills the
It
video.
does. The algorithm kills it. By the way, great video. It was a good video. So there you go. Thank you for the super chat. It's like Tom pulled a Biden on the stream.
Everybody's calling me a boomer.
Yeah, it's like you became Biden. You were like, what's
It's
this
true.
button? Well, what am I pressing? What's going on?
What's this button do? It's not a nuke, is it? Does it push it and I get popcorn?
Oh my god. I'm pressing it to do the diaper change. Okay.
It's like, did you ever believe that story about Trump? Sorry, where
No,
he
it's
had
okay.
supposedly had like a magic button in the office. Whenever he pushed it, they'd have to bring in a Diet Coke or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I read something like that.
I believe it.
thought that was
I
funny.
believe it.
Where's my Coke?
Probably something that like he brought back from his days on The Apprentice.
I think the other thing was really funny to me that they were saying that Trump won't read anything unless he's mentioned in it. So they had to like write like Donald Trump, this, and this, so that he would just read it. And I thought that was funny. It kind of like checks out.
I don't have time. I don't have time for things like words.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like. Go ahead.
You want me to get this one? I can because it's
Okay,
well,
go for
you
it.
can
Go for it.
I know he was speaking about our live stream, and I
Go
won't watch
ahead,
this
Michelle.
one.
It's all you.
I need
Go for it.
redemption. John for the $10 super chat. Twisters was a good movie. Kate is not a girl boss. She made a bad mistake, has to deal with trauma, earns it. Michelle, your guess was wrong. She was a post-grad student, not high school, applying for a PhD. Yeah, I caught that. It's just sometimes when people are talking, like you're not gonna, I just wasn't gonna interrupt for that correction.
Wow,
but-
John Thomas calling out Matt Kadish on this.
Yeah. But I actually agree. I see. John agrees with me. Matt thought she was just slightly, but Matt loved the movie. He didn't like the first one, like that one. I brought it up because Chris Gore said, "Oh, she's just a girl boss," and I'm a big fan of film throwing Chris Gore. I just didn't agree with that. I did not get just girl boss vibes.
Wasn't Helen Hunty kind of girl bossy in the first one?
I was
too?
gonna say, if
That's
you think that she's a girl boss, then Helen Hunt's character was a girl boss in the original.
Oh,
Twister.
100%. But back then, we didn't really like think in those terms because I guess I don't know. They just had good female characters, so we didn't really think.
There
about
was
that.
some of that kind of shit, but it was never as cringe as now.
Yeah, it wasn't as cringe.
Like you would
That's
get
what it
like
was.
you get like the Moments, a good example because it's same writer and producers and whatnot as Jurassic Park, where you had like the scene where what's her face, they're talking about man, dinosaur dies, man takes over the earth, man creates dinosaur, dinosaur eats man, and then she pops up and goes, and then women inherit the earth. Like you had little bits and pieces like that here and there, but never to the extreme we have now.
In that part, it's more of taken as like a joke, right? Because
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum looks and laughs, and so does Alan Grant. They both sort of laugh at what she says, so it's sort of taken as a joke. I don't think she was a girl boss in any way, right? She's a post-grad student, so there's a lot of schooling here. You find out later that she's been obsessed with the weather ever since she was young from her mom. So she's been obsessed with this, and when you have like this obsession, you go to school for it, you do all of this studying around the weather, so you have all of this knowledge. I mean, if you have like something that you love, an extensive hobby or something like that, I guarantee you like look up and read a ton of what you're passionate about. So I think that like that's what she's passionate about. Then she's doing this experiment for her PhD with the help of her friends and doing to see if this works. And she has a reason for creating what she's creating, right? It's not like, oh, I want to see how smart I am. She has a reason for creating what she's creating. So like, it's not just, I'm smart for the sake of being smart. I want to do this for the sake of doing it. Like there's none of that.
See, the thing is with Helen Hunt's character, same
Yeah.
here, Michelle. Because the thing is that most movies nowadays just make it so that like the
They're
women
unlikable.
They're
They're unlikable.
unlikable. Yeah, it's just
Well,
And usually they're like totally demasculating the men,
Yes.
and it's like,
And masculating the women in a way. And like
Yeah.
this movie didn't do that. Like she's still very feminine in my take
Yes,
to this. And then
yes.
also they let Glenn Powell be Glenn Powell. Like he's
Yeah.
man's
Mhm.
man. Like
Well, and here's
Yeah.
where I think they misunderstood or mistake how women were portrayed, especially in the 80s and 90s, right?
Mhm.
Like a lot of those women were strong women because they, as you said, had the education, they had the experience. 9 times out of 10, you'd have a character, generally not a main character, like a side character or a villain that would say, "Oh, you're just a woman," or would point out that they're a woman, and then they would have to show or prove themselves in some way. But even then, it was still like, look at a great examples, like a lot of the Shelley Long or Goldie Hawn comedies that are specifically Private Benjamin, right? It wasn't such a big deal that she was a woman joining the military, right? That wasn't a big deal. Even her superior officer was a woman. The thing was, is she was some hoity-toity rich bitch. That was the joke, right? Like, that's the thing, is even by then, it was like, okay, women can do whatever the hell they want, right? Like, it's never, nobody ever, I never was raised in a world where I felt like my mom couldn't go out and do anything she wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was just more pissed that she had to go to work when I was 5 years old, because at that point, she just couldn't afford to stay home anymore, right? So I was just used to my mom being home all the time. My dad would go out to work, and that's how, just like Leave It to Beaver on TV.
Yeah. It was the same thing when like Paris Hilton did It's a Simple Life, and it's like basically about these rich bitches going to like farm, and you're like, and they have no idea what they're doing, and it's funny because that's the joke. It's like, not that women can't do anything, it's like that mentality that those people are just so
And the other one I was thinking about was Troop Beverly Hills, right? Like the joke of that movie isn't that they're women. Of course, they join the Girl Scouts or whatever. That's the whole point of it. The point is that the city girls don't know what the other girls know as far as like being able to handle the wilderness. So she learns a way to apply their knowledge to how it works for them. That's the point. We used to do that kind of stuff to rise above adversity. It's like, why do we get in this rut again where we're back at the same old shit we were in the 60s and 50s and shit?
And speaking of girl bosses, that's what I wanted to bring up to Stephanie, because I saw this tweet, and this is
really quickly, like bringing it back to Twisters. Like I know that, like I think that if she was a girl boss, she wouldn't need a team around her. Right at the very beginning, she has a team helping her do what she needs. Helping her create what she needs to create. It's all of these minds. If she was a girl boss, she'd be doing it on her own. Same with Helen Hunt's character in the first Twister. Like she has a team around her helping her. It's all of these minds together to create, what she's creating. I don't want to say, because like I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But if she was a girl boss, she would be doing it on her own. She wouldn't have a team around her, and she wouldn't have quit after, what happened to her team. And also wasn't the guy at the very beginning, wasn't that her boyfriend?
Yes.
And he protected her. And she would be protecting him and saving him. If she was
See, now that might be one of the reasons why Spielberg said take out the kiss. Because if the whole thing is kind of predicated on her losing a love in the beginning of the film, he maybe thought it was better to just have her not jump right into the sack with this guy.
But it's been years. Like,
has it? Okay.
It has been years, but also I think that
I'm just trying to think of a reason, because Spielberg's one of those, like, he's never usually wrong.
He's not
right.
shy.
I think that like it has been years, but this was also like her coming back, because she moved away after everything happened at the beginning of the movie. Her coming back and doing what she was doing and getting it back involved in the tornadoes and stuff was also kind of healing for her. So maybe that too is also why he wanted to take the kiss out, because it's like she's now healed and now she can move forward. Right. So.
Interesting. Okay.
But I do think we have an interesting conversation, because I think in today's time where we've been so inundated with like these super obnoxious, what I truly would define as a girl boss character, of like not just making everything that is a female, that is a strong lead, a girl boss, because it's like, you could say, if you're that way, then would you think Ripley, if it was made today with Sigourney Weaver, was a girl boss? Like, yeah, in a way she was, but not in the way I would clarify the way they make a true girl boss today. Like, she was a very strong female lead, but she wasn't obnoxious and you didn't despise her.
Exactly. She wasn't a total pill.
Yes. Yes.
Now, speaking of girl boss fucking bitches, this was funny.
Oh,
So Jimmy tweeted
What
this
has
out,
she
like,
done now?
It just says the Acolyte continues to dominate streaming charts, and I'm like, really? Like,
Which ones?
is that?
Yeah.
I know.
Let's cite them.
But real quick, I don't want to focus on the Acolyte because, like, fuck it sucks. But what did you guys think of the finale? I'm sure you saw it there, Stephanie. So what happened? Did you like it? I'm guessing no.
No, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous. You can't tell me that Yoda's there like the whole time. What's he doing? He's there the whole time.
Did they
And he
put
doesn't-
Yoda
he doesn't
in it?
sense- He doesn't sense that anything is wrong. He can't sense that. And also it's implied that the green lady, I don't even know her name, but the green lady comes in at the very end and she's like, Master Yoda, I need to tell you something. So it's implied that she told him everything that's happened, caught him up to date, and he just kept that information to himself, didn't tell anybody.
Well, she
about
probably
it.
told him the lie, I guess. I don't know. That it was all, because they blame it all on the one good character. That show
I don't
was
know.
I
terrible.
thought that
so
it was
bad.
stupid. I hated the entire show. I just made fun of it. That's all I did. I just made fun of it. I watched it for the giggles. It was terrible. The show was terrible. The acting was horrible. The whole thing of like Chimere and Osha, was it Osha?
Yeah.
Chimere and Osha having like this whole love thing came out of nowhere. It was ridiculous. I still don't know who Chimere is.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, that's Smilo Ren.
Oh yeah, Smilo Ren. I still don't know who he is. Apparently he was a student that went dark, but you still don't know. It's still
He
a
was
mystery.
the Green Lady's Padawan. You know,
Yeah.
the Green Lady being Leslie Headland's wife, who can't act to save her life.
Right. Going into the finale, I'm like, I still don't know who this guy is. And I got a reply from from a shill, and she like gave this whole answer. And I'm just like, where the hell did you get that answer from? Is that your head canon?
fiction.
Because
Yeah.
where in the Acolyte does it tell me this?
They do that a lot. They just like come up with some random shit from their head and they're like, this is what happened. And it's like, no, it wasn't. But we got Valiant Renegade here saying for $4.99, y'all are crazy. The Acolyte was great. I wish Cobra Kai was good, which is our next topic. We're going to be talking about Cobra Kai, and it's going to be a bit of a spoiler talk. So if you have not seen it, I'm just letting you guys know. Bit of a heads up. We're talking about it. It's going to be spoiled, whatever. Okay. So Valiant says, I wish Cobra Kai was good.
Tom, really quickly. Have you heard of the Real Good charts?
No. What's that? What's the Real Good charts?
I don't know. I'm asking Tom.
I have not, but I think somebody replaced Valiant Renegade with an alien.
What the fuck is happening?
Because that's like,
Or a Disney shill.
where's my?
Is it? Are you?
Because
Do
that's
you want to
like
come
that
on and
article
talk,
that I
Sam?
tweeted out.
I was gonna say if he watched Cobra Kai, I'll bring him in. Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
That's
not,
where
no
like that
pressure.
article that I tweeted out. The Acolyte continues to dominate streaming charts.
Never
That's
heard
the
of it. No.
That's the streaming chart that like they're going off of. The Real Good charts.
The Real Good.
Yes, according to the
What?
Real
It's a generic
Good charts.
brand at
Oh, you have no
Walmart.
idea what that is. According to
It's like the
Real
great
Good charts,
value.
That's what I was just gonna say, Valiant. Another Parrot Analytics, basically. But it sounds like a generic brand you pick up at Walmart. Did you get the Kellogg's cornflakes? No, I got the Real Good
I got
brand.
great value.
I got great value.
That's what this whole
I'm a
article is based
loser.
on. That's what the whole article, according to the Real Good charts, the Acolyte has consistently ranked within the top 10, holding its own against other major titles. That's what they're basing it on. That one thing, the Real Good. I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what the
Wow.
Real Good chart is.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, Valiant, if you want to come on, I don't know. Tom sent him the link if he wants to come talk about Cobra Kai. So I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I did like it a lot. It's weird, like in a sense, because Cobra Kai is one of those shows where you just have to suspend your disbelief. Like it's a weird campy
Those
show.
kids
You're
are
gonna
a
go
menace
watch.
to society.
It makes no sense, like at all. But I did have a couple problems with it, so I wanted to talk to you guys about it. So first, let's get like the thoughts, and then I'll go into why I thought there was definitely some problems. So Michelle, what did you think?
Well, should we put some spoiler things up, or are we gonna do
Yeah,
just?
put on like
Yeah.
a little
Well,
spoiler.
let's do non-spoilers first, then we'll get into spoilers. So just like
Okay.
general overall
Okay.
thoughts, and then yeah.
My general thoughts was it took to the third episode for me to like really be engaged again. Like the first, and I'm not saying the first 2 episodes were bad, they weren't. It was just kind of reintroducing you to all the characters, how things have changed, what's going on, and then
It's
it was
been a
like by
minute.
episode, it took a
Yeah.
minute, and which is fine. I mean, the episodes were only like 35 minutes. But then it really gets going in episode 3, and without spoiling it, she's my favorite of the kid characters. Tori, I think they've given her the greatest arc.
I agree.
I thought that without spoiling, there's a scene where I thought that actress actually brought like gravitas to the show with her acting. Like I actually thought
agree.
it was exceptional.
I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree with you, especially because I hated her from the beginning. Like when she came, became part of the cast, I was like, this bitch sucks. I hate her, but especially because of the character, not so much because of her acting or whatever. And now, but she's had such a interesting arc that she's won me over. Like I'm actually full on Team Tori now.
She's the most
Stephanie,
interesting of the kid characters.
I agree. Stephanie, what'd you think? Oh
God.
Shit, here we go. Let's go.
Did Steph hate it?
I don't know.
Look, I love Cobra Kai.
But
I mean, I'm like 100% on board. I could not wait for it. I think that their decision to split this up into 3 parts.
yeah.
Wait, it's 3 parts? It's not 2?
No,
It's
it's
3.
3.
Oh, fuck.
We get
off.
15 episodes total.
Yeah,
They're
it's 3
milking
parts.
the heck out of
Their
this thing.
decision to split it up into 3 parts really hurt them because these first 5 episodes, it's like they're so mid. They're so mid. I love Cobra Kai. I think that like the stuff with the kids, the stuff with Tori, I absolutely loved. I
Same.
love the stuff with Tori. She's one of the most, you're right, she's one of the most compelling characters. She's now like my favorite character. Everything that she's gone through, I absolutely love it. I love her relationship with Robbie. I love Robbie's relationship with Miguel and how it's grown and how much they've overcome, and the relationship with Danny and Johnny. Daniel and Johnny. That relationship is really good. Like
amazing.
The fact that they've come this far to where some of the decisions that Daniel wants to make at the end, in order that they like, if we're doing spoiler free, that those decisions like kind of benefit Johnny in a way, and that he trusts him that much, speaks volumes about how far they've come in these 6 seasons. What made me laugh and what just completely like took me out of it was all the stuff with Kreese.
Me too. Oh my god, I cannot stand that.
I can agree.
All the stuff with Kreese.
I didn't have any
was
problems
like,
with that,
what
but
the
okay, I'm
fuck?
curious what you mean by that. Okay.
So like
I'm
that
listening.
just took me out of it. All the stuff with Kreese just took me out of it. I was just watching like. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, what the hell? Okay, what happens next?
I was just like, okay, like
I guess I don't know. I'm still trying to. I didn't have a problem with it, so like I don't know. I don't know.
And I love Cobra Kai. I freaking love Cobra Kai. Okay?
Well, let me explain, because like I agree with you that like here's my issue. Like I like the show. It's the weakest of the season so far, and I agree with you, Stefan, in the sense that it feels like they were told you got another season, but we're not giving you 10 episodes. We're giving you 15. So they're like, well, we wrote a script for 10, so now we have to kind of pad this out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you can already kind of tell when they do the setup in the beginning where things are going, who's going to end up being there at the end. But like it feels like we're going through a bunch of different, like you guys are probably too young to remember it, but the Family Circus comics, where the mom would tell the kid to go to the store and come right home. Valiant knows what I'm talking about. So like they'll show like the whole path the kid will take to go home, and it's like all over hell.
Oh yeah,
to get to like
I
one real
remember.
quick place, and it's like, what took you so long to get here? Because it's literally like right next door or whatever, and then you look back at the comic and you see, because they went through this whole trail of things to get there. And that's what this show kind of feels like, is like, now anyway, is like, we know where you're headed, but you're just really kind of just like, oh, we got to have this here because we need to pad it out just a little bit longer.
The thing is, Tom, I don't mind
Yeah.
that. I don't mind.
Yeah,
all
that was like one of
padding.
my least of my problems. My biggest
Yeah,
issue
I
was the
don't- I don't
literal
mind all that
mystery
padding.
box.
I just think that the stuff with trees
The
sort of
literal.
like just it took me out. I don't mind all that padding. I have no
you're
problem
right.
with the show being padded. Not at all. Don't care. It's the decisions that John Kreese. I don't know. It's just the whole
I need
story
to talk spoiler.
there. It's
I need
so
to talk
freaking
spoiler.
weird. Yeah, when we start talking spoiler, I'll tell you specifically why. But it's the stuff with Kreese and also the whole shit with Miyagi and his box of mystery and his mystery box. I did not like that either.
I didn't like
Okay.
it either.
But I think
That's
that it
my
does
biggest complaint. Yes.
yeah, I think that it does suffer. It's suffering by being 3 parts. If they wanted to do it in parts, it should have been a 2-parter,
I thought
right?
it was gonna
Half
be
now,
2.
half later, and then you're done. But the fact that it's 3 parts and it leaves off where it does, it's just like,
The
what was
fuck?
this? I don't like it. Yeah,
So-
it leaves you off in such a weird place that and with like barely, I don't know, with like some weird storytelling up until then, it could have stand to have like they just put out like another maybe 2 episodes, right? Just another 2 episodes, just half now, half later. It's just suffering from being put out in 3 parts, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Valley. I actually thought it was 2. Now that you say 3, I think
Is it 3
fucking shit.
parts? I thought it was gonna
Yeah,
be 2.
so like,
It is
yeah,
3
now,
parts.
now
Yes.
the second part comes out in November, and the third part sometime in 2025 to be decided. We don't even know.
What?
I
That's
was not aware.
insane. That I hate that. That's
You
that's
know they
crazy.
will put it out before Stranger Things, which I think will come out like in late April or May. You know they'll finish this out
If
before
it-
they move.
yeah.
To
Well,
that final-
here's the thing: is I think
Maybe.
it's going to coincide with the new movie. That's
what I
the
was
big-
thinking. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. But they also
Because
said
I
that
also here's the other thing: is I think this stupid mystery box.
is going to have something to do with the movie. That's what I
You know
was
exactly where I was going with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
That's what I
problem
was
with this
thinking.
mystery
They also
box.
said that this has
Okay.
nothing to do with the movie. Like Cobra Kai, or the movie is going to be completely separate from Cobra Kai. So, like, why would they do that if it's not going to tie into the movie? Because they
Well,
were saying
here's
that,
the
like,
thing: is they
not
did
going
have
to
the
tie into
guys. They did have the guys from Cobra Kai come in after things had started going in motion, and they did talk to them. So that's my assumption, is that they worked it out with them, that they would set this up, because otherwise there may be some answers we're going to get from the mystery box, but there's more in that mystery box than we're going to get answers to. And specifically, now that we're going to get, let's just jump into some spoilers here, because, and the reason I believe that is because he's got like a bunch of stuff that leads to China. And that's
Okay, so
why I
let me-
think,
Let me
Mhm.
start off then. If we're doing
Yeah.
spoiler talk, but first I wanted to hear what Valiant says. Because
Yeah, Valiant, what
did
did you
actually
think of the
not
show?
like it, or
No, I've been a fan of this show since the get-go. And well,
Mhm. Same.
Since it was on YouTube Red, like
exactly.
Yeah.
I
I
love
was
the show.
Same here.
Yeah,
I signed up for YouTube Red
so did I.
years ago for this show when it premiered. And
So did I.
ladies, I can't say that I'm here tonight in full regalia. I didn't have time for the makeup. But I do know that this is the look that Michelle said she prefers for me. So here we go. Valerie Renegade is back.
Oh,
Um,
hi, Valerie.
So
Welcome.
He
I
looks
have to
like
be
a
on
rock
the
star
Toxic
from the
Femmes.
80s.
Gotta have, yeah. I mean, we can go with the hairband stuff, but I didn't get the eyeshadow and lipstick on, but
So
as I did
progressive.
famously 3 years ago here on Toxic Femmes. So yeah, we're so progressive here at Valiant Renegade. But no, the show was Look, I enjoyed season 6. My initial reaction with the Miyagi box was probably the same as most people. Like, oof, I don't screw this up.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
as I watched the show and then I thought about how the writing team has treated the characters and everything up to this point has always been with the greatest and utmost respect for everybody. What I see coming, and before they kind of hinted at this in the show, was is that yes, they're making it look like, oh well, Mr. Miyagi wasn't perfect either. But I promise you right now, from everything that this is a gut feeling. They're setting it up to make you think that, and then you're going to find out, no, he did what he had to do for honor.
They always
Yes,
and they
of
hinted
course.
at it too. They
That's what I
said that as much.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier in my stream too. I was like, they've taken such care of these characters and always respected the initial movies, right? And they've taken such care of Mr. Miyagi's character and always honored him as well. There's no way that this will lead to something bad. However, I don't like that they even implied something bad. That's my problem. I don't even like the implication of it. Like, they've always taken care and respected this character.
Yeah.
And they've sort of like, because there's so much time between now and the next few episodes, they've put like this black dot on Mr. Miyagi's character.
Well,
right?
I agree with you.
It's a little frustrating. It's like, what is going on? Why would you even do that?
I think that for me, it's the climate of everything. Like, because we're getting so much stuff about, like, the blurred lines between good and evil. And it's like, oh, here we go now with Cobra Kai. All of a sudden, it's like Mr. Miyagi wasn't a perfect guy. Like, he's like this fucking evil dude now.
But they have given us before the mid-season break, I feel like they've given enough clues here to make you go, all right, there's something more here. Because remember, one of the final scenes was Daniel going back. He recognizes when he puts the captain's band on the kid's head, and he goes, wait, I've seen this before.
I've seen that.
He goes back to the box, and he's like, oh my God, he was part of the Sakai. Sakai Taikai, right? It's like, oh wait, there's something more to the story here. Why did he engage? Because we all know from the original canon of Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi was not a fan of competition. And for those of you, out there watching, that's old Okinawan tradition. Master Funakoshi, with Shotokan and things like this, the school of Okinawan karate and martial arts that I came up through in my youth and into my adulthood as well. We still have one of the original two graduates of the JKA, the Japan Karate Association, still here in New Orleans since 1957. He's almost 90 years old now. Sensei Takayuki Mikami, my sensei for many years. The idea that, like, Master Funakoshi, who started Shotokan karate, and the best example in this show that I could tell you of Shotokan is like Mike Barnes. Not the anger, not the asshole side of Mike Barnes, but he walks in a room and delivers a smashing punch. Chosen, like his scenes in season 5, where he goes toe-to-toe with the 6 other senseis in John Silver's. Like, when he just turns around and he delivers one shot to each of these guys and drops them, that is pure Shotokan. That is Okinawan Shotokan. That's what we do. So I'm watching this. I'm like, they take a lot of stuff from reality to put into this show. But, when we look at, like, kind of where they're going with Miyagi, he's the old school guy. He hated competitions. He was the type that, why waste karate for silly little metal plastic trophy like he talks about in the 1980s films? And it's unless it's to defend honor. So we know that Miyagi engaged in a sport competition, right? This was, he didn't, like the Sakai Taikai, this is a competition. This is not something. This would have been the antithesis of what Miyagi
but in the training thing where they were picking the 6 people, that dude, I forget his name, he was like, are you willing to die? Like, he even said, like, are you willing to die in this, like, in this competition? Because they will push you to your limits to a point that you might actually die.
That's the thing is, I don't think Daniel and John understand the severity or the extreme that this competition is going to be.
No,
and that's what that's what this whole point is going to be with Miyagi, is that either this is proof that he has had to. There is a whole nother level to his karate that he never taught Daniel, and this is why he never liked competitions, because either he had to kill
Yes.
And that's why there's blood, or somebody killed somebody close to him. Because there's the other thing is this picture that we think is Miyagi, and it might be actually his brother.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. And because what he's never talked about his brother before. So I don't like a new brother being introduced. I'd rather it be the idea that Miyagi has another form of karate that he's not too proud of, that he didn't teach Daniel on purpose. But what it's going to do is going to help balance out the boys in the end, because Cobra Kai karate is too aggressive. Miyagi-Do karate is not aggressive enough.
Passive,
you have to find, you have to find some balance in the middle.
Right.
And not only that, he's probably going to learn that Miyagi's had to kill before. Right?
And
Like that's another thing that's going to set up
Well,
for
he
John
knows-
Kreese, because
he
somebody's
already
going to
knows
have
he
to
had to do
kill
it in the
John
war.
Kreese at some point, or this thing is never going to
it
end.
has to be Johnny. This has been Johnny's story. It's
I
about
would hate
his and
for it
his
to be
mentor. It would have to be, because
I
that's
would
like,
hate for it to be Johnny.
and I mean, they've kind of set it up already with that, because they were saying that, like, what Kreese witnessed in that cave with a snake, which is like, this is what I have a problem with. That whole
What I mean
Kreese
is in
storyline.
competition, TJ, not
Thank
just
you,
in
TJ.
war.
That's
Thank you.
what I was going to say. To stipulate that, I mean, we already knew he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner with the flag for valor, the
Yes.
highest honor that is bestowed in the United States military. Miyagi had it because of what he had to do in World War II, which of course included killing. But the point with all this is that this is a competition, right, in martial arts. This is something that would have been that Miyagi, from the first movies, he abhorred. Like, this was not, like, we don't use this to defend a title in a sport. We are above this.
Use
and
this
that's what this is
karate
setting
as
up.
last defense only to protect family.
Right. I mean, that's what this whole issue, I think, is setting up, is that Miyagi would have only done this because he had no alternative. He was defending something more than a title. He wasn't, I mean, so that's what we don't know yet. But obviously they're setting this up to make us question, as obvious as in the show is, was Miyagi, did he have a dark past? No, I think we're going to find out. They are going to redeem this.
No, somebody else stole it from him, or somebody else.
That's the thing. That's the thing, guys. This is what I have a problem with, because in today's day and age of like how we just can't have a good character. Like, everyone has to be complicated. Everyone has to have a checkered past. Like, oh, he probably killed somebody. And blah. Why can't
No,
we
I
just
don't
have a
think
good
he actually
character?
did. I think
Like,
that's what
I
we're
just-
going to learn.
But
I
that's
think
the
that's
point,
stupid.
Nina, is that we're thinking about that right now because that's what's being presented. But at the end of the day, I believe at the end of the story arc, we're going to find out that it wasn't the case, that what Miyagi did in this situation, even though what Daniel thinks right now, what Johnny thinks right now, because of what Amanda told him and everything else about finding the box, we're actually going to find out, no, Miyagi did this as a last, he did it as a last resort to defend the honor. And that's what he's always been about.
Or it was self-defense or something like that, basically.
self-defense,
It's going to be a situation where the theft wasn't really a theft. It was something that was stolen from him, his family, or another dojo or something
or
like
something,
that.
because it was a necklace, so it has to involve a woman.
And I
of
think
some
that
sort.
might feed into some of the shit that was in the TV series, because this season is supposed to have a truckload of Easter eggs. And that was one of the things about the TV series, is that they went around jet setting looking for like old Okinawa. Yeah, it was an old cartoon. They went jet setting around, and they actually had an Easter egg already from that cartoon.
Yeah.
And they would jet set around the world having to do with old Okinawan like artifacts and stuff like that, and karate artifacts. And one of those artifacts showed up on Miyagi's shelf in I think it's the third or fourth season. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to this. Like, he was like some sort of secret agent or something.
That's kind of cool, like, in a sense.
Because I think they're setting up a young Miyagi series. And I'm like, yeah, you could do that. I would like it if they just stuck to what we know, but you can't just give us that. They're going to have to try and find a way to make it more exciting. And I could see that being is that he was maybe some sort of secret agent or something at one point of some sort for the government, maybe.
Do you think, because I haven't looked at like the list, the cast for season 6, do you think we've gotten flashbacks, which I've absolutely loved, of Silver and Kreese? I've loved those flashbacks of theirs. Do you think we're going to get a Miyagi one?
Probably
setting up the series, and that was my point. Yeah. Because I bet you they'll say like, oh, because he came over here as a refugee, and they're like, you got to prove to the government that you're loyal, and so they set him up to be a spy or something like that for a few episodes, and that might tie into this whole mystery box or something like that.
I just want to really quickly go over what I have a problem with regards to Kreese's story. And again, like,
And I'm just
I
speculating,
understand-
by the way, but yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I understand that, like, you have to suspend your disbelief to some extent with a show. But this dude broke out of jail and is traveling internationally, like, to several places. I mean, come on. I mean, like, I just couldn't buy that. I was like,
He already faked his death a couple times. I'm not going to put it past this dude.
That's one of the big things that I had a problem with. He busted out of jail, flew internationally to Korea,
fair.
and then came back. Came back to talk to Tori.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Barcelona.
Well, here's one thing I will say, and they might not be showing it, but this is a probability. Don't forget that Terry Silver was richer than rich, and he probably had access to a private plane. So that's a plausibility.
That's exactly where I was going with that. I'm like, you could, and I get it. You do need to suspend disbelief to a point, but there's been enough in the show up to this point to where we can reasonably assume how this would have gotten pulled off. What Tom just said is exactly right. I was
because
thinking
Silver also helped him fake his death.
The point of Kreese and Terry Silver, and he even mentions it in this episode of, like, you know, getting rid of the thing that, like, you what was it? Your weakness. Terry Silver's weakness was Kreese, and he got rid of him, which is why he was in jail. He framed him. Like, that's why he was in jail. That was Terry Silver's weakness. Now, why, after getting rid of his weakness, would he help him?
Exactly. I'm like, there's no
not a helping him. It's not a helping him. Kreese may still have had access because of what they did with Cobra Kai, with the way they speak. Kreese was still attached to it.
Kreese could even possibly still fly
like
himself.
Valiant, even when you're on a private jet, you still have to check in with the government of the fucking country you're going into.
I'm sure the drug dealers know ways around it.
Yeah,
Kreese
I was
could
about to
probably
say.
find it. Again, I agree with you that it is a bit of a.
It's a really big stretch for me. Like, that's
it's
the
a
only
bit.
part.
It's a
big stretch for me. That's the only thing that sort of took me out of it.
Me
right?
too.
I will
was like,
accept
what is
the
this?
fact that, you know, John Kreese's sensei is still alive after all of these years, even though we saw
was
him
the
as,
other
like, a
thing.
super old man. I will accept the fact that he is still
but those
alive.
those
and
old
they
Asian guys, man, they don't quit.
No,
It's
but
like
that was the
I
other
will
thing.
accept the fact
That
he's
whole
still
thing.
alive, even though Kreese is like, looks like he's like, what, in his late 60s, 70s. But
He's
this
older
old
than
man is
that.
still
Well,
kicking
what's funny-
it, right? He's still kicking it, and he's still kicking it. Like, he's still
Well,
fighting.
isn't it the same guy
I will
who plays
accept that.
what's his
I will
face in
accept that,
Kill Bill?
sure. I'll give you that. I'll accept
Pai
the fact
Mei?
that there is a cobra living in this cave. And his only job is to guard this dagger. Hell, I will accept that. I'll accept that Kreese is immune to the cobra venom. But I don't know why just him
I couldn't
traveling
accept it.
internationally as a fugitive of
Well,
just took me
the
out.
Cobra Venom thing.
Stephanie,
Okay,
I
time
couldn't
out,
accept
time
that.
out, time out. The Cobra Venom thing. That's a problem of movies and television making people think that every deadly snake is a deadly snake, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain level to the venom, depends on how much venom you get. In fact, the deadliest snake is the black mamba, speaking of like
Yes, I
Kill
know
Bill
that.
and
Yeah.
shit. So like that's the thing. You can get, and actually I think a cobra's not as bad as some of the worst from my understanding. It's just that they like to show off basically with their
No,
big
but I
hissing.
mean, I went and read it, and it said, like, you know, you can survive it. But
Yeah.
it's usually people who are like much younger, and it's usually
Usually.
people like, you know, it's not dude.
But this is
over
all- let's be real.
60 years old. Motherfuckers in the cave takes a.
All right.
Come
All right.
on,
Time
man.
out again. Time out again. Let's be real here. We get it.
I can accept.
We
a lot
get
of
it.
things,
This
but, like,
actor
I
is
draw
in his
the line, and
80s.
I'm almost like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
look, seriously, he's traveling internationally. He broke out of prison. Come on.
Look, there is some mysticism to it, but this is the point, right? We've gotten to this point. We're in season 6, and in my opinion, look, every television show and every movie, virtually every movie, can be nitpicked. That's a fact.
Yeah,
The difference is that, you know, talking about the Acolyte versus Cobra Kai. And I want to make this very clear. No, I want to make this very clear for the audience. I know all y'all know about it. The difference is that the reason why, like, we can nitpick stuff on Cobra Kai and say this didn't work, and that's cool, and I get it. Here's the thing for the general audience out there. When you watch a show like Cobra Kai, the show is so damn entertaining. And the rest of the writing is so good. It's so fun. Like, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined, okay, you want to bring back all of these characters from the original films. How are you going to do this without it being absurd? In my opinion, I can't believe they found a way to do it that felt good, that felt right.
I totally agree with you, Valiant. And like, I'm telling
the
you,
Acolyte, on the other hand, nothing was right.
No.
Literally nothing was right.
It, though, dude.
Yeah,
you can't even compare it.
But that's the point, Nina.
I think that you can, and you're 100% correct. They both exist in two separate universes. One in the Star Wars universe, the other one in this universe where they solve their disputes with karate. Right?
Karate. It's like an anime, basically. Yes.
Still, you can compare the two. The difference is the Acolyte had terrible writing, terrible storytelling, all of that. This is still good. It's still good storytelling.
Exactly. With the
Acolyte, it is very entertaining. It's just, I think that like even within this universe, you have to be a little bit realistic, and that's why the only thing that took me out of it was that Kreese was able to travel internationally despite being a wanted.
Before this, the high school.
I guess I didn't even think about it until you brought it up.
I don't think that that's being nitpicky because I'm.
No, it's not. I'm using I'm using
realistic because we're still living in this we're in this
to
universe.
A point.
Seriously, like you have to come on. How is
I will say, like, I honestly didn't think about it until Steph brought it up. Like, that's like the least of my issues with the series.
But I would have liked to see him using the silver connection to go to these places.
I don't disagree with you, especially the way they padded out this show.
They could have
Otherwise,
something
a lot of the stuff that I just let go, like you said earlier about the whole fight at the school and all this other shit, is like this season especially starting to feel more and more like an anime. Like an anime show, like very much in that kind of vein. Exactly. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of these things, so I don't know the exact things to reference to say like this reminds me of this, but it's things I've seen, and that's what's kind of starting to rub me a little bit the wrong way. But I'm okay with it because I get it. The younger crowd is kind of what they're aiming for with this season. It feels like a little bit more.
It is. They're bringing more people in, and here's the point.
But they're also trying to show Kreese is still a badass. That was what I was trying to get to earlier with the whole snake thing and all that kind of business.
Well, and here, and that's the other thing though that I like had a problem with because it's what you guys were saying, like Tom, like especially with what you're saying with like them having to fluff it out. Because I actually thought the last couple of episodes were extremely rushed. Like I was like, I don't understand. Because now, and here we're going to go into what Michelle was talking about. One of the most powerful scenes of the show, in my opinion, was when Tori found out her mom died.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that was, I mean, it was so beautifully done.
Strong.
It was so well done. And I was feeling so emotional for this girl to a point where when she started to fight the other girl, which I usually rooted for the other girl, right? Like you're always rooting for her. I was rooting for her because I was like, man, she's got that anger. She's got that that heart that she needs to get out this grief. And when Johnny and was saying that, like, she needed to do this to get out her grief, that was her way of channeling this grief. That's the part that really fucking got me, that I was kind of annoyed about, because I was like, okay, so they find out that her mom died. They try to stop the fight. And then nobody went and called this girl up and tried to go talk to her. And so all of a sudden the next thing we see is that she's with Kreese. Like, it just doesn't make any
here's what I think.
sense.
Yeah, I think in the next few episodes, we're going to get flashback, right? We're going to go back in time.
Yeah.
To see what led to that, because it was very hastily done. Where we picked the two captains and now we're in Barcelona, Spain. It was very rushed, but we're already there. So I think that they're going to go.
And we already know that's not going to be the final team, right? Because something's going to happen. Yeah. Something's going to happen to where either the one girl gets busted, or she has a change of heart.
Busted. Yeah.
And so she'll end up confessing, and we don't know where. What's his face? The other kid is going to wind up too. The one that ended up shitting his pants.
Kenny.
I always forget his Kenny Payne.
One of the best characters in the show.
Yeah. See, and that's what I'm waiting for, because there's another couple spots left open on Kreese's side. So either she's going to have a change of heart, and they're going to end up bringing Kenny in her place, because I already said that this team is too white.
Well, here's the thing with the scene. With the fight between the two girls with Tori, I mean, look, they can easily. I mean, you could see it in the scene. I can skip over the minutia in the middle and go, we've already seen this before where Tori like goes dark, like she ghosts everybody. And she doesn't pick up the phone. She doesn't answer text. We've literally seen this in seasons past. So we can infer pretty easily that after that, yeah, she ghosted everybody again. She wasn't answering calls. No, and then she shows
No,
up
but
on
I
stage.
disagree though, Duvaliant. I disagree with that part because even if that's the case, they set up that whole line where what's his name? Johnny's son, I forget his name.
Robbie?
Was like
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie,
Robbie.
was like telling her it's just the two of us, like it's you and I. And then she was ghosting his calls, and then she came, and then he saw her devastated. Like he saw her in that sense, and he didn't go to her house to like be like, we need to talk, girl.
Well, but
like
we don't. That's
I'm
what they're
sorry
saying
for
about the
your loss.
time
Come
jump.
on.
That's what they're
Come
saying about
on.
the time jump. We'll probably
Yeah.
get some flashbacks
Yeah,
because
I think we're gonna
obviously
go back in time.
there was like a month or two or whatever it was between what we saw there and versus the Sakai Taikai, with the competition. So I think we'll get some jump backs. But
Okay.
look, when I was
Probably.
this is what I'm
That's
talking
true.
about earlier, like with the whole. I'm not complaining about, and I'm not saying nitpicking necessarily in a derogatory sense. The point is that most of this show up to this point has been so good
It's true.
that I can
Right.
forgive things that at least in this moment in season 6, I'm perceiving as the writers missed something, right? I'm
Sure.
letting it go because they've given me so much great stuff up to this point.
You're right, because it
to
is
where
a
I'm
part
like,
one.
I
Like,
can
it's
be
part
chill
one.
on this.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's whereas the point was, whereas the Acolyte, we got literally nothing from Jump Street. Like that was just
Yeah.
a train wreck from start to finish. An absolute narrative train wreck, an embarrassment. It should be a textbook example 20 years from now of how not to write shit in Hollywood. I mean, literally, it should be a textbook example Monday next week. But with Cobra Kai, it's like, look, it's not perfect, but at the end of the day,
Damn near it, though.
it's damn fun.
It's
It's
good.
great.
a lot of
It's
fun.
fun, but that's why I say that
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
the way they're putting the episodes out right now, it was a bad decision.
It's hurting it. It's
hurting
hurting
it.
it.
I
that's
agree
what I
and
think.
disagree at the same time. I
Now,
think
we
what
can
they
also-
should have done
I
is
can
done it week
understand the
by week
complaint.
this
Two-parter.
season.
If they wanted to do a two-parter, put some out now.
Actually,
put
I
them
think
out
they should have
later,
just
like,
done it
that'd be
every
fine.
week, Steph. Because that's what I
Weekly
think is.
release. Yeah.
Yes, because that's the problem they're doing here now. Is they're doing this on purpose because A, they didn't have it all done in time, and they know they need to get it out, and B, they're spreading it out because we noticed that Netflix has been doing this lately. Why? Because part of the things that keep these shows going is us talking about them.
Talking. Yeah.
And if they dump them all
Word
at
of mouth.
once,
Yeah.
then it only lasts, the talk lasts for about a week, and that's it. And not only that, you have a lot of people who resist talking about it because they don't want to like alienate their audience because, like a show like, Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, stuff like that. People don't want spoilers. I mean, we've given people almost, about a half a week or a little bit better to talk about this, and we discussed whether or not we're going to get into spoilers before the show. But I'm like, look, if it's on streaming, I think it's free game, especially a show like this where you only have 5 episodes.
Well, and
It's
there's
not
a
like it was
weekend
20
in
of them.
between. It was
And
like
there was
it
a
dropped on
weekend in between and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so like this time next week, my point is, though, who's going to be talking about Cobra Kai?
Yeah, exactly.
If they'd have done
real
it week
quick
by
with
week by
Tom-
week by week instead, then they would have never had to take a
But
break.
Tom, that's not a great sign though, because let me take us back to 2022, and people talked about Stranger Things season 4 the whole month until we got the last part, and then they talked about that for another month. So I mean, like if people really
works to
like
a
something,
point.
they talk.
But
Yeah.
that's
I
true.
don't know if Cobra Kai has the speculation around it like Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
And what
Not
I mean
to the
is
same level, but
not to the same level. Like what we've just speculated here on a few things like the Miyagi mystery box and a few things. How much farther can we speculate on that until we see more, right?
Exactly.
Like with Stranger Things, there's so many levels of shit you can go through in so many directions. Kind of like with Star Wars, right? You can
Sure.
come up with 5 different
of
scenarios
theories.
on where it
Yeah.
can go. Like in this sense, we have 3 or 4 possible paths, and that's probably about it.
I do think that the Stranger Things model was like what they should have done with Cobra Kai. I was fine with that. It gave us a month break. We
I
all
agree.
got
I
to talk
agree.
about it,
I agree.
speculate, have fun, but it was
November's
just
too far out.
yeah, it was literally with Stranger Things. You got it here, and then literally a month later,
Yeah.
they were getting those.
I'm
two payments.
devastated that it's
You got
3
it again.
parts. I'm like, what? I'm
Well-
like, this is crazy.
Let
But
me
what-
I'm
but
glad
hang
we're
on.
getting more, but yeah.
let me
Hang
and
on,
let me
real quick, guys.
Go
I
ahead.
want to, because Michelle's going to be leaving us soon, and she was very quiet throughout our little spoiler review.
Sorry about that.
So, Michelle, before you go, please tell us like your spoiler review, what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, all the stuff before you're gonna go.
Do you know, I did a review. I definitely go check it out if you're watching. I gave it 5 out of 5 because at the end of the day, like I just watched The Acolyte and it was I tweeted out during the second episode, this show's just so much fun. Like it just like it puts
It
a
is.
smile on your face. Like it's
It does.
happy. And
Yeah.
even though there's stuff that like I laugh about, like, but it's from a place of like love. Like I
Yeah.
can acknowledge these things, but it doesn't take away what I feel watching the show. And
Totally, same.
I love the show. So like I'm excited. Like I hate that I have to wait till November, but when
Same.
that day comes, I'm gonna watch them all then too. So
Hell
I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
I will tell you one more thing while you're here. One of my favorite scenes of the whole season, other than Tori's like
It's
the whole
just so
mom
good.
scene, one of my favorite scenes, and it's and I think it's interesting that you guys watched The Acolyte and I didn't, and we kind of have this thing because you guys have this garbage in your brains, right? And then you're
Yeah.
watching this and being like, "Oh my god, this is good." The garbage I watched before this was Beverly Hills Cop 2. Or I mean not 2, 4. The
Yeah.
new one, the Axel Foley one. And that movie, because it was trying to have this like father-daughter relationship, it really hit home with me. My favorite scene of this show was when not Johnny, the other Daniel's daughter becomes the captain, and he's putting that bandana on her head, and the journey that they have had through this whole thing as father and daughter. And I thought it was such a beautiful father-daughter story, and I really, really like that scene. I think, and it was highlighted to me because I just watched such a shitty father-daughter movie. I was like, wow, this is how you do father-daughter stories. So I
just thought of something else I really did enjoy. I really enjoyed that whole episode. You could be like it's champy, it's silly, but that is the show. The whole episode where Johnny is trying to make Tori and Sam fight.
Oh, yeah.
that made me
That was
laugh.
great.
Silly.
And how
I
so
love
funny. How he
Yeah.
keeps saying the opposite, like of what you sometimes you hear people say, like girls are easy. Like
so funny, so funny. That was
Yeah,
like,
I
because
love
that was a play on
Johnny's-
words, and like the
I
whole
love
girls
Johnny
were
in this
easy.
show. The only time I disagreed with him, and I felt like it was just because of they needed plot to happen, is when he was like insistent that they fight. When she found out, like that felt a little out of character. Because even Johnny, I think, is because that's the thing. Both Johnny and Daniel have lost parents when they were younger, right?
yes.
So they both know what that's like. So both of them men at that point should have been like done the smart move and taken this girl and talked to her because they can relate to what she's
It made a
dealing
little
with right
sense to
now.
me because he was saying that I wanted to fight.
Yeah,
I would have
he
given
was saying that,
anything
like,
for
that's
it
what
to be in
Cobra
that
Kai
one.
helped him.
I get
Cobra
that,
Kai
and they
helped him
kind of
work-
did address
work
it, yeah.
through that. Yeah,
And I just at first I
didn't
kind of
mind
felt
that.
like
honestly
I was like,
didn't mind
wait,
that.
what? But here's the other thing: is do you guys think that's how they're going to help? Do you think that? Because here's the thing: is she's now on the other side or whatever, right? Do you think she's going to stay there? Is she going to flip again? Do you think this is where
No,
Julie
I
comes
think-
into play?
No.
I think ultimately she will end up with Johnny.
I think so too. I think she's gonna end up with the kid, his son, Robbie. I think she
Yeah.
loves Robbie, and I think Robbie is basically with Johnny and Cobra Kai. And now somebody did mention in the chat that they think that Tori is going to be the one that takes out Kreese. I wonder
That's a
if they're gonna-
plausibility.
yeah, and I wonder if they're gonna give Kreese a redemption arc, like maybe something really fucking fucked up.
I don't think he
happens.
deserves
don't
one at
want
this
them
point.
to.
No, I don't want.
Yeah, I don't
want
think he
them to.
deserves
No,
one
I
at
agree
this
with
point.
He's
Yeah.
past redemption at this point.
Because they did a
I
really
can
good job
see-
in the last season of making him worse than Silver. That was the point. I think.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, oh man, I really don't like that. Is it just me that I don't like that he's worse than Silver? Like to me, Silver has always been almost like the sort
Yeah.
of like mega villain, right? In the Karate Kid universe. Like I loved the fact
To a
that he
point.
was
He has
like
so much
he
money.
was just evil for the sake of being evil. I really loved that about the
That's
Silver
why I think he's
character.
worse.
How like
Steph.
he would make Daniel in the third movie.
Steph, that's
third
my point.
movie?
Is for Silver, it's all for kicks, right? Like
Yeah,
for
it's
him,
all
it's,
for kicks.
he
Like, I
doesn't
didn't-
necessarily have any emotional investment in it. Kreese
Yeah.
does. See,
Mhm.
that's
why
what
I
makes him more
liked it. Like,
dangerous.
I loved that like Silver was sort of like that. It's just for kicks. He laughed
And they
at
still
it.
are.
You know,
And this
he's
was, but
torturing
it,
this teenager and he's laughing at it. I love that about Silver. I don't know how I feel. I don't.
But
I don't
they've
really
always
like
been
that, but I mean,
building up-
I'm rolling with it because that's where they're going with it. But I just don't like that
But they've always
they
kind
give,
of
like, all
built
this
up.
evilness to Kreese's character.
But that's the
Well,
thing, though. They
that's my
haven't,
point, though.
Stephanie, because throughout the seasons and throughout like the entire series, they've been showing him as a really complicated guy that, like, you know, like wanted to stand up to the bullies. Even with this Asian woman, like
Yeah.
she was being abused by the grandpa, and he stood up for her. So like it was like a whole thing. Like it's like they've always been giving him this kind of like very complex character arc of he's kind
That's
of
what I liked
complicated. He's
about
not
his
so
character, that it was
evil.
so complex, and the fact that they're turning him into someone who is more evil than Silver, I didn't really like.
But
I
that's
Well,
the
in a
thing.
sense-
I think that
going with
that's the redemption that I'm telling you about because
Well,
I think it
But I don't think
maybe
that he can't. I don't know. I don't want them to.
Steph, my whole
I
point
don't
is,
want
I don't
them
think
to
that
give him any type of redemption. I don't think that he's going to die. I don't think anybody's going to kill him. I think that they're going to somehow get
I think
him
he
back.
might sacrifice himself for Johnny and somebody or something. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
maybe, but here's my point: is like that was my thing. I was saying, Steph, is I don't think they've ever changed the dichotomy at all. Silver is still Silver. It's just that Kreese has always had more of an emotional investment in this, right? And
Because
that's
of
the thing
Johnny.
is because of Johnny. And then the other side of it is, yeah, they keep showing that he's had this past where he stood up for people and he wasn't the bully, but he slowly became the bully, right?
Mhm.
And that's the thing is, even when he was given mercy, he saw that as weakness, right? When Mr. Miyagi could have took him out after the first tournament, and instead he went honk. That was the moment. Instead of taking that for what it was, he went deeper down the hole, right? Because that was what led us to part 3, where when he, you know, fakes his death with Terry, and see, because Terry's there, Terry's fun, but it's Kreese who's always been the mainstay. He's your Skeletor, right? He's your
Right.
main. He's Darth Vader. He's your always
Yeah.
going to be there
And then now
bad
they're
guy.
taking that out, where they're taking out the mercy thing. He's gotten rid of that because he had that hallucination and that he pictured himself snapping Johnny's neck. So now there's nothing holding him back.
Yep.
No, I don't know. I'm
So that
I'm
makes
a
it
little
more
bit-
dangerous than it did before. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But before
Yeah.
we lose
We'll see.
Michelle, I wanted to get her
Yeah.
predictions on where she thinks the show's going to go.
You know, I haven't really thought that far that far into it is what I think. Yeah, I really haven't. I mean, I think ultimately the kids are going to win. I mean, surely they're going to be victorious. Ultimately, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. You caught me off guard, Tom. I'm gonna have to think about this more. My brain.
Do
There's
you
just
think we're going to
so
see
much
Julie?
going on in the world?
My big question for everybody is: do you think we're going to see Julie yet? Do you think there's room for Julie to come in yet?
I honestly thought that Julie was going to come in last season. So yes,
too.
100%. I really want her to come into the show.
Is that
I mean,
Hillary
they
Swank's
practically
character?
brought
Yes,
back
Hillary
everybody.
Swank's
Yeah,
character.
Hillary Swank. They've practically brought back everybody. So like bring
Yeah,
her
I think
in.
we
I'm
will.
all on board with it.
I
Bring
do
her
want
in.
The
her.
final
I
season,
want her.
yeah. I think they'll
Yeah.
bring her back. I think they'll also bring back what's her name? The babysitter. I forget her name.
I'm confused because I thought,
Elizabeth Shue? Elizabeth Banks?
yeah, she's already been in it.
Elizabeth.
But
But I think they're
she
gonna
might
bring her
be
back,
back.
again for the
She
for
might
the
be back because
finale.
here's the thing is Ralph Macchio was asked at the premiere if, you know, who's going to show back up or anything. He couldn't say anything. He goes, I would love to see certain characters who have already been there be expanded upon a little bit more, and you never know who's going to show up. And he was
Yeah.
specifically asked about Julie, because that's the thing. There's so many points here where I'm like, she would have been perfect to bring in, yet they haven't. So I'm waiting for that moment when they finally do.
They
'Cause I
need to
thought
have a good reason to bring her
Well,
in.
before the tournament, I thought was perfect, especially when they had Mike there. I'm like, okay, this is totally setting it up for Julie, because that's the whole point is, and I brought it up many, many a times. Julie already knew karate. That wasn't her problem. She didn't need to learn karate. She needed to learn control. And that's where Miyagi was like, boys are easy, girls are complicated, right? Like, because she was full of emotion, even more than Daniel. Daniel was a little hothead, but all Mr. Miyagi had to do was give him something to do. And he kind of channeled that into that. With
Girls are fucked up. It's true.
She's a
I mean, look at
completely
Tori.
different animal, and I think she is the key to all the kids that were they need to be deprogrammed from the Cobra Kai side of things a little bit. So I think that's where she'll come into play, and they've already kind of set her up in certain ways. I think, at least in my opinion, because I had specifically the one that I think was referring to her was when Daniel's standing there, and you got Robbie and his daughter, or not? Was it Robbie and his daughter, or was it Miguel? I can't remember which. I think it was Robbie. And he's like, it's been a long time since there was 2 students in this dojo, and it was when they're learning that balancing practice thing in the pond.
Yeah,
I can't.
It was Michaela and what's their name?
Well, I thought it was Robbie, but yeah, either way, he says
maybe
that
it was
specifically.
Robbie. You're right, it was Robbie.
Yeah.
He says that specifically. He says it's been a long time since there's been 2 students in this dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that tells me
Michelle
that
has
that's
to go.
probably where. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
But Michelle.
now
has
I
to
got
go.
a
Really quickly,
question.
what was your favorite episode?
I don't know, because I remember 3 was the episode that like I really got truly like invested again. What happens in episode 3? Why did my brain? I'm like,
I don't pay attention to episodes. I'm like you. I'm like,
don't.
I just,
Well,
I think
yeah,
episode
exactly.
3 is
When?
where Tori's mom died, isn't it?
that's probably
No.
why. Well,
No, that was
No,
like
that was
episode
like
five.
4 or
That was
5. Yeah, no, that was a
The
4 or
third one
5.
is with Mike Barnes, isn't it?
Okay, then yeah, that was probably the Mark Barnes.
Mike
episode.
was back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched them all in one lump, so I don't remember where one ends and
So
the
did
other
I.
begins.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
we-
fun.
We
Oh,
saw
no, the
Tori's
third
mom
one- the
die,
third
and
one
then
is
the
with the
next
house-
scene was the fight. So that was like
Yeah.
episode 5.
That was episode
Which
5.
one is the third stuff?
Isn't the third one where they're house hunting?
Is that the second or the? I don't know.
That
That was
could
when I
be.
started to really get it. I thought that was the second
That
one.
was when episode 3 was when they're starting to like figure out who's gonna be in the team.
Yeah,
That was like the first
Okay.
time.
Oh yeah, so they had the
They
challenges.
announced like, oh, you're gonna be, there's gonna be
yeah. You
6
start getting into
people,
the
blah, blah,
fighting
blah.
in episode 3.
Yeah.
That was another time where the show felt like it was puffing things a bit. Was with the whole house thing because it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that whole
Yeah.
house fight, that was so fucking
Well,
stupid.
no, like the
Anyway.
whole thing, like
No,
I'm
the
going to
hou-
find
the
a house.
shopping was chosen.
Oh yeah,
And then the
whole
house shopping
house
thing went
hunting.
nowhere.
That's
It was like, what is this there for now? Because because even like it's a throwaway line later on where he's like,
No,
oh yeah, we didn't get the
no,
place.
Tom. It went somewhere.
They
It
couldn't
was
get
showing
the house.
that Johnny was
Johnny.
evolving and stopping his anger, and that
Yeah,
that
it's
that,
teaching
that
Johnny self-control.
Yeah, but it's a lot to do for nothing to get nowhere because they still didn't end up finding a place. That was my point.
But didn't Johnny get like a job? He got a new job.
He got a
But
job.
he-
That was
no,
it.
no,
That was
he
the funny
did.
part about it. But
Yeah,
he-
he got a
but
job.
he found a place. Like he's gonna find a place through that guy that they met, and then he like kind of charmed, and he was like, "I have other properties. Don't worry, we can figure something out." So he did kind of find.
did
a
he say
house.
that? Because like
Yeah,
later
said
on, he
has other
said,
properties. Just get your credit in.
In
That's
Shanghai.
right, okay, 'cause,
and then
like,
call me back.
see, because
Yeah.
to me, it just kind of felt like a waste of time to do all that shit, though. It's like you could have
Yeah.
summed that up a little easier.
And yeah, that he got him a
And
job.
quick question
Well,
I want to ask before I do jump
You could
off.
just gave him the job.
That's true.
Natalie and I have yet to see the one with Hilary Swank. Is that worth reacting to?
Oh yeah, go for it.
It's
why not?
fun. It's
Is it a watch by yourself movie or a react to it movie?
Probably a react to it movie because you definitely got to have somebody to bounce off of. It's probably funnier because it's one of those movies that's almost so bad it's good. It's really like the last third of the film that was where it goes off the rails.
I never got into that movie. I was
It's
like, okay,
I
this is
never did.
stupid.
Look, there's a reason why when they did the new 4K releases that it was Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. And there was even a reason, arguably, why when the Blu-ray remasters came out, Tom will remember this, it was Karate Kid 1 and 2. So like
Oh, they
as
did
you-
eventually do 3
Yeah.
and 4.
They
I
no,
do
they,
have-
they
yeah.
did, but like the pack that I have, I think is 1, 2, and 3. So I mean,
4
there's
still hasn't got a 4K release though.
no,
Yes,
it
you're
hasn't.
correct.
The one with Hilary Swank, yeah. So
That's kind of
Which
funny.
makes me wonder if she is going to show up or not. But yeah.
that's
Like, I didn't get my
that's
4K.
She's like all insulted. Like, fuck
Well, no,
you
and I'll
guys.
tell you why I kind of knew who was going to be coming in the next seasons is because as soon as they announced the 4K releases of 2 and 3
yep.
is when we knew we were going to started getting flashbacks
Chosen
to those seasons.
And Mike Barnes,
Barnes.
you knew it was coming. Yeah,
But also, I think Hilary
Yeah.
Swank is very possible
Or
for
those
her to come
movies,
back
I mean,
because she's
yeah.
made some Netflix deals recently. She's done a couple original movies with them, so it's. I
Yeah.
think it's very possible that they're going to bring her back.
I hope she
look,
does come back.
it's all down because it's Sony Television that is producing this in tandem with Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's where it comes down to. And you know, the last point of this, kids, remember this: We're talking about The Acolyte earlier in the show. We're talking about Cobra Kai now. Let's just remind everybody what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, hang on.
Yeah.
The Acolyte, $22.5 million per episode, kids.
Ooh.
Cobra Kai Season 6, reportedly $2.5 million per episode. Let that sink in.
Big difference.
So when you're talking about, you know, how this lines up, not only in the public zeitgeist, how this lines up in terms of social media reaction, et cetera, et cetera. Does anybody think that The Acolyte, a month from now, once all the dust settles, that The Acolyte is going to wind up having more views and global recognition than Cobra Kai?
Oh, hell no.
Please raise your hand. Yeah,
No.
and look at what Sony and Netflix did for, you know, reportedly less than $3 million per episode. It might have been as high as $5 million. We don't, but I mean, that's everything that I've seen says $2 to $3 million per episode. This is a big win, and this is the difference. I mean, you can think about this, 15 episodes ranging from 30 to 40 minutes apiece. If we have 3 parts, 5 episodes per part, we're talking about less than $50 million. Disney pissed away $200 million at least, because I don't believe the 180 figure for a minute. It's higher.
A lot of that
I
went to the
promise you.
cast of Cobra Kai, because that's a big cast.
And
It's a
with
big
that-
cast, but you know, they didn't have a $20 to $30 million hotel and catering budget like The Acolyte did.
Shit.
I'm
That
not,
is
I'm
so-
not joking. That's about
Yeah.
what it
No,
was.
I know
at
you're
least.
not joking. Yeah, that is
And
stupid.
and not to cut you off here, but like Michelle's got to get rolling here. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
I do suggest you check out the movie, because I think once you see it, you'll realize where at least I'm coming from, and probably some of the rest of us, where we say, like, we're getting to a point where we can see they're going to bring her in because of her character and how she, and that may even play into the mystery box. I've seen some people say in the chat something to do, because
Maybe I should watch the movie too. 'cause
Miyagi's connection with her is that her grandfather and him fought in the war together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he taught his father. That's the thing, is that's the first time we learned, because Miyagi somewhat kind of fibs, or at least I'm trying to remember how he ever said it, but he's taught other people karate before. That's the point. So the karate that she knows is the karate that Miyagi taught her grandfather.
Right.
And she also has lost both of her parents. And that's where I think Tori and her are going to have a crossover somewhere. And I think that's where a lot of people are like, oh, that's her mother. It's like, no, that's too easy. But they will, I have a feeling that character does have a connection there. There will be something. So we'll have to see. I think it'd be interested to see if you check it out.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think the
Perfect
militarized, whatchamacallit, security guys in the movie are what ruined the movie for most people, because they're a little over the top.
I
Yeah.
have to
It
watch
got
Yeah.
campy.
In the meantime, though, you guys, every one of you, I hope you go check out tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. We are releasing our first time watch and reaction of Weird Science. We had fun with this, so I hope you enjoy it. But anyway,
Weird Science.
it was
Good to see you, Michelle.
Yes, good.
I'm
to
sorry
see
you're not going to be around for the cannibal talk.
That's okay. It's
Michelle,
okay.
just real quick before you go, we have to plan. I thought about this the other day. We have to plan it a weekend. I'm going to drive back up. We're going to come hang out at your house, and I would love to do a reaction video with you and Nat. I think this would be a
Ooh, that'd be
blast.
fun.
Yes.
That'd be a lot
You
of
know,
fun.
and then we can finish setting up the new reaction studio in the big room for you guys.
Okay, that would be fun. I'd like that. But anyways, you guys have an awesome rest of your night, and I will see you next week.
Bye. Valiant, do you
I
want to
think
stick
Hillary
around
Swank is gonna go.
for
But
our next talk?
I don't know anything about the whole Armie Hammer situation, but
Well, you're going to learn about it right now.
well,
Because I don't know much else either. So
I'm
you're
gonna
learn
listen.
about it.
I've got some like work projects I've got to do. I
Fine.
didn't get home till 7:00 tonight, but I'm gonna be
Okay.
listening. Y'all stick around. I'm sorry, I wish I
Okay.
could, but I do have.
No,
to
it's
run.
all good.
But thank
Such
you
a
for having me. This was
loser.
very sweet. Thank you for having
So
me.
glad you were here, especially when you had your wig on. I can't believe you transitioned and detransitioned on the same stream. That was amazing.
I had to, because I was like, this is. I forgot how hot.
Was
this
it too
damn
hot?
thing
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Valiant. Do you want to plug your wares before you leave?
Yeah, I do stuff on YouTube. Check me out on Valiant Renegade. How about that?
There you go. Thank you for coming on. See you next
Wednesday
time, bud.
live show. We'll see you there. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we'll really quickly go through this.
Hold on.
But mainly because I was very fascinated with this story when it came out.
You're gonna eat your fucking toe.
Before you start, I do want to say that I did like Cobra Kai.
I did too. I loved it.
You hated it, don't you lie?
I did like Cobra Kai. It was like that. I think I focused way too much on like the John Kreese stuff.
Yeah.
You're one of the few people I can actually get into it with who I know knows what they're talking about, though. Like, there's only a handful of people.
You know what? Like, these 5 episodes were really good. Like, obviously, it did the right thing. It got us talking about it, and it got us conversing. And what is it? What is this all going to lead to? And it did it very well. It's excellent writing. And you know what I love the most is Daniel and Johnny's characters and how much they've progressed from season 1 until now, to the point where Daniel wants this to be his swan song. He wants to stop after this worldwide tournament.
Yeah, right.
Him and his wife are going to, he told his wife, "This is it. I'm done."
That's a cope, Stephanie. We know he's never giving up.
Hold on.
Come on.
But listen, this is what he's saying, right? This is what he's saying, and for Daniel to even be uttering these words speaks volumes about how far him and Johnny have come as friends. For Daniel to think, "I'm going to be done with this, and I'm going to hand over the dojo, Miyagi's dojo, to Johnny."
Mm-hmm.
And then for also Johnny to be tempted by Stingray, which was so funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
I loved that part.
It was also really creepy because what the hell was Stingray doing there with a bunch of kids? I was like, what the fuck? This is weird.
know.
Like Stingray's in the woods with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, for Johnny to also like be tempted in the woods with all of the kids by Stingray.
That was funny.
By Stingray, right? Like, hey, it's Cobra Kai can go to this worldwide. You can do it. You can still take back Cobra Kai. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that part, and the way it like cut, right? It centered on Johnny's face and then it cut away. I was thinking, there's no way he's going to do that. There's no way he's going to do that. I don't even think he's thinking about that. And then he comes and he tells them, like, Cobra Kai is Kreese's legacy, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. Neither him nor Chosen fight. And they come to the conclusion, like they come to an agreement, like, we're going to do this together. And then they change the patch on the back, and the patch is just beautiful. Like that is such great storytelling. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like in awe when they showed the patch. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Well, and I love the Chosen Johnny thing, since you brought that up real quick.
Yeah.
Because that's how guys really kind of are. They're like, well, you guys don't need to fight now. They're like, why not?
And then, and then they still fight for fun. Like that was such a great scene.
I love that scene. That was great.
Lines that I just cracked up laughing for a little while when Chosen said, like, but Eagle Fang is so stupid. Like, I laughed so hard at that. But at the same time, I was like appreciating this friendship that they have now from season 1 until now. I was appreciating that bond and that friendship so much. Like I absolutely loved it. So yes, Cobra Kai is doing really well. Wow. And I loved these 5 episodes. And I wish we got more.
This is basically Chosen.
Got more, but we didn't.
This is basically Chosen and Johnny here, yeah.
That's funny. That's a good meme.
This is guys. Like, we get into a fight and then we're cool,
Yeah,
that's true.
Women don't understand it. They're like,
my favorite episode of these first 5 were the ones with Mike Barnes, because Mike Barnes is one of my favorite characters in Karate Kid, and I absolutely loved his episode. I always love seeing him come back.
Yeah,
women just don't understand that, how men are like.
I mean, we kind of get it. But it's like, it's very much. It's similar to what Johnny thought about what girls would do, like putting them together in a room, all the estrogen.
That's the point. Is he's trying to do what men? He's trying to do it the way men do it. And it's just not working for him, right? Like,
but
that's
he was
the thing
right
with men,
because they almost started fighting at the end.
Well, it was not on purpose.
And
it was on accident.
What kicked it off is one of the funniest visuals that we've gotten, which was Miyagi Fang. The things that the kids were like so hyped about.
Like a fucking vampire.
Like the kids were like, "We did this for you guys. This is going to be amazing." And then they show them the Miyagi Fang drawing, and I That is
I
one of
was
the
like,
funniest
no.
visuals that I've ever seen was the Miyagi fang. I was like,
And
oh my God, no way.
I also loved when Johnny's like, I got my own kata. He's like, yeah, I mixed in
oh
yours.
yeah,
He's
his
like,
kata
big
was
circle, big circle.
The big circle. Jam it in his face.
He said,
Like,
jam your elbow into his face. Jam it in his face.
What's funny is that you see Johnny
That
sort
was
of like
funny.
he's embracing all of it. And even
Yeah.
though it sounds funny coming out of his mouth, you can tell he's being very serious when he is teaching his new kata.
Well, yeah.
He's taking it very seriously, even though what he's saying is completely ridiculous. I
Well,
love
that's what's always
that.
been
Like, I
charming about him.
absolutely love that.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
still respecting
He's still Johnny.
Miyagi-Do, and he's still respecting that version of karate. He's just giving it his little Johnny flavor
Yeah,
to
he's
it,
just
right?
Johnny.
He's
Yeah.
taking it seriously, right? He's taking it seriously. I absolutely love how much these
Oh, I
characters
love
have
that
grown
scene too, by
from
the
then
way.
until now.
I love that scene where the wife, like, when they find out like all the stuff about Mr. Miyagi and they go to that fucking boxing place or whatever. And then the wife is finally like some shit happens, and then she's like, okay, this one's on me. Cause like the whole time she's been telling them, like, you gotta stop fucking around, like you gotta straight up their act, blah, blah, blah. But she's the one that pushed them to like go to this like this whole thing. And she's like, all right, this one's on me, guys. I thought that was funny. But anyways, let's move on to this Armie Hammer story because this was crazy and wild when it came out. And I was like, at the time, I was like, I mean, I didn't know what to think because it was so weird, but I did a stream because somebody introduced me to this Twitter account that was kind of documenting what was happening with Armie Hammer and this woman, House of Effie, that was accusing him of all this heinous shit. And so basically, it all boiled down to this Piers Morgan interview that he had the other night, and it was kind of a fascinating interview. Because in it also, it pointed out, and I've been really loving watching Piers Morgan recently, but it really pointed out that at the end of the day, Armie was never charged with anything. He was never charged with rape. He was never charged with any of this weird shit. And at the end of the day, they were two consenting adults that consented to doing some really, really kinky stuff that are basically like BDSM stuff. And it's just consenting adults doing things until one of them decides that it's no longer what they're interested in. Now, I think that this woman that accused Armie of all this stuff is extremely toxic. And that's why I wanted to talk about it on Toxic Femininity, because I think that she's extremely toxic. And I think she ruined this guy's life and career. I actually think she's mentally deranged.
I'm not surprised because when this initially happened, like when we were going through it all, I don't remember if I said much at the time, but I'm sitting here going, yeah, this is some creepy shit, and I wouldn't want to date this guy. And if I had a daughter, I definitely wouldn't want her to date this guy. But at the end of the day, I'm failing to see the crime here.
Exactly.
That's what I kept thinking to myself. I'm like, you can talk about this shit all day long, and it's not really a crime until something's actually done. And in some cases, depending on the state you're in, it isn't even really technically a crime if both people are into it. You'd be fucking surprised.
And that's the thing, Tom. The crime became when she accused him of rape. And that's when
funny how that works.
The allegations of actual crime came out. And then as things got going, it turns out this woman is the one that introduced him to all the weird cannibal shit to begin with. It turns out that she's the one that was so into all this stuff. And he was like, all right, and he really goes through it in this interview. This was a very honest interview. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. So we're going to watch just a couple minutes of it. Obviously, we're not going to watch
male privilege moment, time out. I can believe it. You want to know why? Men are simple creatures. Chances are, if we're saying we're into some wacky, weird shit, it's because you are.
Yeah.
We're very simple creatures. We see something naked, we're ready.
You're over. Yeah, you're done. You're like, it's good.
We're ready to go. We don't need any
spice,
massively crazy shit.
Well, I mean, some people do, right? And that's
some people maybe do, but
and
the actual number is so small.
It's very, very small. And it's funny because they even brought up 50 Shades of Grey in this conversation and how back in the day when 50 Shades came out, it was such a huge and popular book and movie, especially for women, because apparently deep down inside, women are kind of all kind of fucked up, and they like being dominated and things like that. Like those kind of weird, like sex kinks have a lot to do with women, way more to do with women than they do with men. There are some men that you would do it as well, but more often than not, women are really into that shit. And so for it to become this like extremely taboo thing now that they're like these guys were into kink, who gives a fuck? Because it's like, I mean, they're consenting adults. Isn't that the whole fucking point? Nobody was underage. It's gross. It's weird as fuck, but they were consenting adults, and that's where the thing ends for me, because I'm like, this guy had his entire life destroyed because he was an idiot. He cheated on his wife thousands of times. But is that like, is that an excuse to ruin this guy's life? I mean, it's fucking crazy. So let's watch a couple minutes of this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more.
This day, January the 12th. Do you recall exactly how you found out?
I got a call.
Who from?
Because prior to that day, she had accused me of other things on social media. That was the day where she accused me of rape.
Right.
And that was the big word. That was the, record needle scratch.
I mean, what she said was you'd had a 4-year affair, she said, with you, during which she says you said the graphic and violent texts about cannibalism, about rape fantasies, your desire to drink her blood. These messages began to leak out all over the internet across 2 days. Some of them, and I'll read just a few, 3 of them.
I could probably
live to
point you out to at least 2 or 3 chicks who have like vampire fetishes.
Vampire fetishes, yeah. I mean, like I don't know. Some of these chicks are really weird. I mean, especially like when the whole Twilight phase was happening, vampire fetishes, weird like wolf people fetishes and shit. Like, I mean, women are weird, man.
My soul, my brain, my spirit, my body. Would you come and be my property till you die? If I wanted to cut off one of your toes and keep it with me in my pocket, so I always had a piece of you in my possession. I'm 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. It's scary to admit. I've never admitted that before. It was that stuff which obviously blew off around America and around the world. Armie Hammer, I'm a cannibal, in your own words.
Right.
Let's first of all address that elephant in the room. Are you a cannibal?
No. You know what you have to do to be a cannibal? You have to have actually eaten someone.
Have you ever eaten any human flesh?
No.
Not a question I thought I'd ever ask them.
Not a question I'd ever thought I'd have to answer, by the way. But no, never.
What do you feel that a large swathe of the public just think Armie Hammer is a cannibal?
If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Yeah.
But the reason they would believe it is because you said it.
Sure.
I'm 100% a cannibal.
And I think a lot of
fair.
these things,
You
these
think.
text messages.
This is not helping this case a little bit.
So
you should have just said, "Look, man, we do say silly shit for pussy, okay? Let's be real.
No, he
Men
goes
are
into
dumb.
it a little bit more.
Men are dumb, okay? We do some stupid shit sometimes."
Yeah, sometimes.
A very intense affair, very sexually charged between 2 people with very similar proclivities and kinks. And any of those conversations that we had inside of that relationship, when you take them outside of that context and put them into broad daylight, it doesn't look so good.
And we've never seen what she was saying.
Correct. I think for a very good reason.
Right. I'm going to come to one of the other accusers. I have seen some of the to and fro there, which puts a very different light, actually, on her claims. But in relation to Effie Angelova, I guess, look, there were rape fantasies. Is your position that all of this was just role play? That it may be offensive to people to hear about this and to read about it, but it's kind of BDSM, kinky sex role play. It's not actually meant to be taken seriously as you wanting to rape her or to be a cannibal. Is that your argument about the way all this played out?
It's not only my argument. That's the reality of the situation. Different people have different sexual fantasies.
And this is where I'm going to pause it. If you guys are interested, go watch the rest of the interview. But essentially, that's his claim, is that there, and what he also says in this interview is that the police do have the texts that she basically is going back and forth with him. And that's why they decided to never press charges. He deleted the Facebook messages because these were on his Facebook, and he was married at the time. So he deleted it, but they were able to subpoena these messages, but he doesn't have any access on them. They mentioned another woman who also accused him of some heinous shit. It turned out that the police went and got those messages, and those messages were released. Turned out, once again, that the chick was 100% in on it. It was 100% consensual. He's weird as fuck, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. It's kind of like weird shit that these celebrities go through. And he's clearly very, he's thought deeply about this drug weird haze that he's gone through. And he's clearly learned a lot. So it's just really fascinating to see how much people have just kind of basically destroyed this guy's life, especially these women with these accusations. He did say that he denied that Robert Downey Jr. paid for his rehab, but says the actor gave him the best advice to sit down, shut up, and everything is going to be okay. Pierce tried to get him to admit who had been contacting him and with regards to celebrities and who came to his support. He was refusing to name names, and the only way he even named Robert Downey Jr. and Johnny Depp was because Pierce was kind of twisting his arm. But he was saying that this woman is so vicious, and the people that are with this woman are so vicious, like her followers, that they will go and destroy people's lives just because they decide to come after, go and be on his side or whatever, which is really kind of similar to what happened with Amber Heard, I should say. This is just one example of this woman and how, in my opinion, this is just very telling. For example, she this is her Twitter. She tweeted out this thing being wanted to release some of the text messages that, again, Armie had sent with regards to his cannibalism. And again, if you notice, every single screenshot of these things are what he says and not what she responded. So this entire story that she's created and manifested has been a one-sided story where she has nothing to do with any of this. Whereas in the reality is she was very much involved in this very toxic and weird relationship in this BDSM and just destroyed this guy's life. It's kind of really fucked up. So that's what I wanted to kind of go over. Stephanie, do you have any thoughts about all of this?
I'm not really invested in the Armie Hammer situation. I mean, I've basically learned more tonight than I really have ever because I don't keep up with that. But what it sounds like is he got involved with the wrong person. These are some people that say oh my gosh, it's you can't be fantasizing about rape fantasies. That is dangerous. But then they'll put their own fantasies out in the street for everybody to see, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has fantasies, and everybody's going. There's a lot of big talk. If he was going back and forth, and that's what I see with these messages going back and forth with this woman. There's 100% things that she has told him that she hasn't released, and that makes me wonder why. Why aren't you releasing what you said? Is it because it makes you bad too? If you want a fair shake and for people to be on your side, well, then I need to see what you said as well. Put out all of it. If you put out all of it, then there's more that people can see, and we can judge for ourselves. Was this foreplay? It does fucking sound like foreplay. It sounds like they were going back and forth and had these weird fantasies, that
fucking weird.
They were just, going at it back and forth, getting each other hyped up until they saw each other. Did he ever actually meet her and sleep with her?
Oh yeah, they were he was having an affair with her for months.
Okay, then it sounds like they were getting each other freaking hyped up until they saw each other, and then they could go at it, really like animals, whatever. But the fact that she keeps putting these screenshots out there without her responses back to him speaks volumes. Because if he's continuing on, right, going back and forth, it's because she is replying back to him and is implying that she's into it. So he's continuing on as well. Everybody has kinks. Everybody, texts dirty things back and forth. Everybody has fantasies, and that's what this sounds like. So if
And as a reminder, there was once she claimed the rape charge, there was an investigation. He was never charged because they were able to subpoena the text, and that's what Pierce talks about with the other woman and how the texts were released. And he was like, "Oh my god, I changed my mind when I saw the other texts. Like, holy shit!" Kind of gives the context about what happens.
Well,
shit,
From the male point of view, I will say this: if you're a celebrity, never, ever, 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 ever say or do anything like this in text, writing, any of that kind of shit. Because you should know. You should know it's going to be used against you at some point.
Yeah. Was this also like...
This was before Me Too. Well, this is at the height
I
of
don't
Me
give a
Too.
shit.
Was this like early in his career?
Yeah.
But
This was like when it came out, like when it went like full force, was when he was at the top. Like he was going to be possibly the next James Bond. He was the top of the world when this shit came down. And it was because he finally broke up with this woman, and he had finally decided to like come out to his wife that he was having affairs. He got divorced from his wife. He's now like, basically he wanted to be like a dad to his kids, and he wanted to have be part of his kid's life. He had to go through like moderation to see his kids and all of these other things because this woman literally destroyed his life. He was accused of rape. I mean, everybody dropped him. His talent agency dropped him. Did you ever hear about Armie Hammer ever again after like 2002 or whatever it was, like 20?
No, like I saw the whole Armie Hammer is a cannibal, and I was like, what is that? That's weird. I just completely ignored it. I didn't look into it at all. So I knew like everything that Pierce Morgan read to him, like I'm a cannibal or whatever. Like I knew that part, but I didn't know all of this part. Like I'm learning all of this part, all of these other things. But it sounds like, it's a domino effect. It starts with one person, and once other women see like, oh my gosh, I can get something from this, I'm going to try it as well. Unfortunately, there are vindictive bitches like that out there, and that's why, Tom is 100% correct. When you're a celebrity, you have to really be careful who you talk to, who you speak to, who you invite into your circle. Since he was talking to this woman or these women, possibly like before
multiple women.
Yeah. Since he was talking to them before he really blew up, it is possible that he was just like, okay, now I have to like break up with them because they are more of a risk than they were when I wasn't incredible.
Well, here's the thing, Steph, is I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing. He was already married, right? So that's strike one. Strike two, Armie Hammer.
I'm not saying that like
he's a silver spoon baby.
Yeah.
So he was raised as a rich kid.
Individual. Like he is a screwed up individual.
No. And that's not even what I'm saying. My point is he should already have known this before he was a quote unquote celebrity actor, because he grew up in a rich family. Like his name is not even like punny to be punny. Like his family is part of the Armie Hammer.
Yeah. By the way, he does bring that up.
Okay, so
hang on, pause, you guys, because he does bring that up in the interview. He has not gotten a dime from the family. He's basically been pretty much disowned.
But
he doesn't have any of the money. He's broke. The guy became broke after this. Like he's literally like on the street,
right before all of this popped out.
Kind of, and apparently one of his aunts went and like talked about him, and he was like, "I've never even met her."
Armie Hammer is. I don't.
And
know.
that's what I was trying to say, Steph. Is like this kid should have known better even before he was a celebrity, not to get involved in this kind of shit.
I feel like if you grow up with that, you're so used to getting your own way.
Maybe
right? You're so used
to a
like,
point,
all
but
these women possibly around you because you grew up like that. So maybe like there's.
Well, my point is to put it in any way.
Consequence, right? Without not because he grew up with that with in a rich family, sort of like that, right? They're not used to dealing with consequence, so they'll say all this crap because they don't have consequences. But that doesn't make what happened to him right. I'm not saying right.
And what I'm saying though is
now I have a little bit more context as to who this guy is, because I didn't know who that guy is.
I agree that they're used to getting away with shit that they normally, like normal people, wouldn't. But they're also generally taught and smart enough not to do this in ways you can get caught. That's the whole fucking point. Because like when we do hear about it 9 times out of 10, it's because some stupid idiot did something stupid and they got caught. Like that's the thing. It's all the other
just
shit that makes you wonder
unfortunate.
what we don't hear about, right?
It's just really
Like
unfortunate for him because I hate that women do this. Like I would like to call
that's the
women
worst part
out
of this,
that do
right?
this. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that,
the worst
and
part of it.
especially because she fucking basically fake victimed herself. Like she was like, I'm a rape victim. That's a fucking terrible thing to do because you're clearly not being raped. This was a consensual thing. You have a weird kink. You know, if you're into that, whatever. But I just think it's just very awful. What this woman did to him, I think it's just fucked up. Now, having said that, let's go through these super chats so we can wrap this up. Because
Yeah, we probably already
pretty much
demonetized after that.
Hey, Pierce Morgan makes a lot of money off that stream. I don't think he's demonetized. Wild Man Beyond, thank you for the $4.99. Says if you look carefully, you know the box has something to do with Hillary Swank and her grandfather.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, sounds like it. Stephanie, you want to read this one? Oh wait, this is Russell Hall. Let me get this. Russell Hall, thank you for the 2. Black mambas are the fastest snake, not most lethal.
Correct. I looked it up. The Indian inland taipan is. So you are right. Yes.
Go ahead, Stephanie, on this one.
Jason Webster for 5. Episode 8 of The Alkalite is such an audiovisual diarrhea. You will have to disinfect your television afterwards. Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's almost like I was reading Medicare was saying that he wants to start like watching MCU movies, and a bunch of people told him to watch like some of the new ones, and I was like, dude, you already have cancer. Why do you want more cancer? Because that's just like literal cancer. Same thing with The Acolyte. Like, stop watching that shit. Thank you, Jason Webster, for the 5. Says, for the love of God, Kathy, go with your husband and make Congo 2. We all know you want to. Leave other franchises the hell alone. Thank you, Jason.
Hey. You know what happened this last weekend? I made a movie without that bitch. And it was #1 at the box office, baby. And they tell me a sequel to a movie from like 20 years ago, nobody's going to go see it. Psst, mic drop.
Wait, are you serious, Tom?
I'm dead fucking serious. I made that shit. I made the twisters.
Oh my God.
I said, you know what's scarier than 1 twister? 2.
Oh my God.
And we're going to do Twisters 3, and it's going to be like a 3 instead of the E. Okay? And you know what? There's going to be 3 of them bastards in that one. And they might even be carrying nukes. We're not sure yet. We're working on the story idea.
Oh
Trust me, it's going to be the bomb. That's the tagline. God damn it.
Amazing.
Put that down on the poster now. Congo 2 coming soon. Trust me on this one.
Amazing. Okay, thank you. Sonic X2 with a 2 says, do you think Hillary Swank will show up? We talked about this right as when you dropped this super chat and I highlighted it. So we were literally talking about it when you
But
dropped
yes,
this
for those
chat.
who are wondering what the fuck just happened, that was Frank Marshall. That would be Kathleen Kennedy's husband.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Kathleen Kennedy and Frank were producers on the first Twister, but he and somebody else produced this one. Kathy didn't.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Trouble in Paradise.
No, I think she's busy with her Star Wars crap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Russell Hall, for the 2. Whatever happened to the good old fashioned butt stuff? I know, right? It's like, come on, like these people, like,
just
like
regular old
eating
butt
each other and
stuff.
shit. Like, I mean, I remember when the butt stuff was like really like, oh, wow.
I'll eat your ass.
Like, wow, you're really into the kink. And now it's like, my God, like, I don't know, it's fucked up. Thank you again for Russell for the 2. Says Armie Hammer probably does own a bridge. No, dude, he's broke. I'm telling you, this dude's broke.
Well, maybe his
also
family
because
does.
he spent basically all of his money on drugs. Literally, like that was part of the reason he was going so crazy was because he was addicted to drugs. He was doing them non-stop. So that's why they were talking about the rehab
He
thing.
seemingly was addicted to a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Sonic for 2, like Mandy said, don't stick your D in crazy.
Yeah.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. ActionCom for 5 says, sounds like the girls' Hammer dates have the moral of a former Sopranos actress. Yeah, pretty much. These chicks are all sorts of fucked up. And that's it. That's the show. Thank you for watching.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're toast. No. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It's been a fun show, actually, considering all the Armie Hammer talk at the end. But I want to thank, of course, Michelle for being here as always. Check out Force of Light. Check out Valiant Renegade as well. Steph, anything you got coming up you want to plug?
I have a TikTok Tuesday tomorrow. Today I did Makeup and Media. I brought back Makeup and Media. Basically, I sit down with some people, or sit down on my own or with a guest, and we get ready for the day and talk about current topics. That's what I did today. I brought that back. I think that stream was a lot of fun when I used to do it. So tomorrow, Makeup and Media. Just subscribe, My Nerdy Home, and you can turn on notifications to know when I go live. So.
Yay.
Awesome
Russell,
sauce. Thanks for being
the
here.
Sopranos girl basically said that she made more money doing OnlyFans than Sopranos or something.
Yeah.
From what I recall. This was a month ago or something like that. Sorry.
But she hasn't exactly had a career post that show either,
Yeah.
so.
But I remember it was something about doing OnlyFans or something. I don't know. She made more money doing that or something.
So what do you got going on, Nina?
I have my show on Wednesday. I believe I'm going to be hanging out with Joe Malazzi, which is one of the showrunners on Stargate. And I created Dark Matter. We're going to have some fun talking about sci-fi TV shows and things like that. That's my Wednesday show at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, I have my Friday show for good news to balance out the crazy world and the weird cannibal sex people. You gotta cleanse the mind once in a while from all this crazy stuff. So Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, I talk about cute stuff. That's it. That's me.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much.
What do you got
ladies.
going on?
I might jump over to comics. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Comics division, maybe. If not, you'll probably see me at some point between now and tomorrow on Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Thanks
we got
for the
a
rose,
super
Jesus.
sticker
Thank
from
you.
Jesus
the
Davila.
rose.
Sent in a rose.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And with that, we're going to get out of here. Take care of yourselves, kids.